Welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Chapter 81. Zhouwu's Secret Realm is as bad as a younger brother. Seeing Yi Yusong's confused eyes, Zhu Fan explained to him the results of his study yesterday and the effects of mustard octopus. After hearing this, Yi Yusong became even more confused. What does, in order to learn magic, I made dishes that can improve my understanding, mean? Translated, this is equivalent to a certain Kejigojiro failed the driving test, so he had to use a hammer to manually build a fully autonomous car. Another example is, a poor student had poor physics grades, so he had to use spirit communication during the exam. He successfully let Newton's soul possess him and answer the questions for him, and won the competition. Such a bizarre development caused Yi Yusong's brain to short-circuit for a few seconds. Yi Yusong was stunned for a few seconds before he slowly found his voice. Master brother, you did catch a lot of monsters from the South Sea, including octopus. Can you make that dish now? Seeing Zhu Fan nod, Yi Yusong took out several from the storage ring and handed them to him. In order to prevent the leader from running away yesterday, Yi Yusong took away all the monsters that Jìyú had caught, and now he handed them over directly to Zhu Fan. Since the monster was of a relatively high grade, Yi Yusong was considerate enough to cut it for Zhu Fan. The process of making mustard octopus is very quick. After a while, Zhu Fan brought several plates to Yi Yusong. Yi Yusong looked at the plate of mustard octopus. The sauce covering it was shiny and brown, and looked very nice. The unique taste of mustard that he had never smelled before also stimulated his sense of smell. Yi Yusong took a bite, and immediately, the taste of mustard rushed straight to the top of his head. The extremely refreshing feeling seemed to wash away all the depression from yesterday. He just felt his mind was clear, and when he recalled the skills, he really understood more details than usual, and some obscure parts suddenly became much clearer. Yi Yusong closed his eyes and thought. 15 minutes passed quickly. He opened his eyes and stared at the plate of mustard octopus. If he had known that a dish could have such an effect, wouldn't the secret realm that his master had fought so hard to snatch have been? I can't think about it anymore. If I think about it for a while longer, it would be disrespectful to master. Then, Yi Yusong noticed something even more terrifying, which was the duration. According to Zhu Fan, he ate several plates of food in a row yesterday and then practiced magic for an hour. In other words, the duration of this mustard octopus can be stacked. In Yanshan's secret realm, the time required to improve one's understanding is determined by each person's talent, and can be as short as a quarter of an hour or as long as 2 or 3/4 of an hour. The opportunity to improve your understanding in the secret realm is a one-time opportunity. Once you have gained the understanding, it will not work the next time. As for this mustard octopus, everyone can eat it every day to improve their enlightenment by 1 hour. After they have gained enlightenment today, they can continue to eat it tomorrow and gain more enlightenment. Looking at it this way, the Zhu Fan dish is really scary. Compared to this dish, Secret Realm is as bad as its younger brother. Yi Yusong subconsciously calculated the spirit stones he spent every time he opened the Zhuowu Secret Realm, and compared it with the value of the octopus monster. Suddenly I feel like I've lost a lot of money over the years. Yi Yusong's mood suddenly became extremely complicated. However, even after all the complications, I still couldn't suppress the smile on my lips and the ecstasy in my heart. Zhu Fan, what a good disciple this is. It is a blessing for the Yanshan sect to have you. Yi Yusong was overjoyed and stuffed 2 supreme-grade defense law weapons into Zhu Fan's hand, vowing to arm this sect's treasure to the teeth. Then he asked Zhu Fan to make a few more plates of wasabi octopus, and asked his clone to call the head and elders. So Jìyú carefully slipped back, but Yi Yusong was in a very good mood now and didn't glare at him anymore. Eat it and tell me the effect. Yi Yusong directly handed the mustard octopus to Jìyú. He wanted to know whether the effect of improving comprehension would be effective for the extreme realm. Jìyú, who had gotten into trouble, did not dare to refuse and opened his mouth and ate it. I thought this special dish would be as disgusting as the beef soup before, but I didn't expect it to be surprisingly delicious. The octopus legs are very chewy, and Jìyú likes their bouncy texture very much. And the unparalleled stimulation of mustard made him feel addicted. After a while, he finished 1 plate, and looking at his expectant eyes, he wanted a few more plates. How do you feel now? Want to try to comprehend the technique? Yi Yusong asked. Then Jia closed his eyes and thought for a moment, then said. Quote. It seems like, I don't feel anything. This tastes quite refreshing, but when I comprehend the technique, it seems to be no different from usual. Yi Yusong thought, could it be that this dish has no effect on the extreme realm? This shouldn't be the case. It has an effect on him for a quarter of an hour, so. Suddenly, Yi Yusong realized what was going on. When Jia entered the secret realm of Zuaowu, there was no effect, because this guy's comprehension was already at the top level. Suppose that after Yi Yusong ate the wasabi octopus, his comprehension went from 95 right pointing arrow 99, and for Jia, it was 100 right pointing arrow 100, so he didn't feel anything after eating it. Jia can't be the leader just because of his brain, right? It's because this guy has a very high cultivation talent. Yi Yusong did not admit that he felt a little jealous, but under Jia's eager eyes, he silently distributed the other plates of mustard octopus to the other elders. After the elders showed off a plate of mustard octopus, they began to comprehend the skills and then exclaimed one after another. Who could have thought that the effect of this dish could almost surpass their secret realm? But when Yi Yusong told them that this dish could be used in combination, all the elders were shocked. The way they looked at Zhu Fan was so fiery that it gave Zhu Fan goosebumps. So the elders, like Yi Yusong, took out various life-saving weapons and props and stuffed them into Zhu Fan's hands, fearing that something might happen to this treasure of the sect. It is no exaggeration to say that even if Zhu Fan falls while walking, more than a dozen layers of shields will appear on his body to protect him. Armed to the very hair. Although Jia couldn't understand what it felt like to improve his understanding, seeing so many people giving Zhu Fan stuff, it wouldn't be a good idea for him, the head of the sect, to just stand there and do nothing. But he had eaten all the edibles in his ring, and it was useless for him to give Zhu Fan more since he already had so much, so Jia gave Zhu Fan 2 buckets of Chelong blood and asked him to use it for bathing. After all, law weapon is just an external object, and the medicinal baths of body refining can greatly strengthen oneself. However, the spiritual power in the dragon blood was still a bit overbearing, so Jia asked Zhu Fan to add more water and absorb it slowly, and then ask him for more when it was used up. Zhu Fan, who received a bunch of treasures, thanked everyone and felt that Yanshan was a good place with clear rewards and punishments. It was a good place for those bosses who could only make empty promises to learn from. Yi Yusong helped Zhu Fan cut a lot of octopus, asked him to make some more, and then returned to the main hall with the head and elders to discuss how to deal with the Zifei sect. With a new killer weapon, Yi Yusong was no longer as depressed as he was yesterday. He squinted his eyes and thought, with a cold look on his face. Zifei sect in Yao Wang Palace, they dare to stretch their hands so far, then we will pull them down. Chapter 82 Everyone becomes familiar. Yi Yusong flew north with the Earth's core liquid and Bai Luo crystal. His destination was Yuanliu sect, which was also one of the 6 major sects. Yi Yusong knew very well that the reason why Zifei sect got involved with Yaowang Palace was because they coveted the other party's elixirs. On the one hand, it was because the Zifei sect ranked 5th among the 6 major sects. Only by suppressing Yanshan could they avoid becoming the last one among the 6 major sects. The 6 major sects in the Cultivation World are Jian Palace, Daozan Gorge, Yuanliu sect, Qianding sect, Zifei sect and Yanshan. The 2 sworn enemies, Jian Palace and Daozungxia, have been fighting for years over the title of who is the top C in the world of sword cultivators and knife cultivators. In previous years, the first and second place in the Immortal Gate competition were decided by the duel between the 2 of them. Although Yuanliu sect and Qianding sect also wanted to chase up, they were indeed not as ruthless as those 2, so they basically stayed at the 3rd and 4th places. They were used to it and were too lazy to compete with the 2 above them. Apart from the Zifei sect, the relationship between Yanshan and the other 5 major sects is neither good nor bad. After all, the Immortal Gate competition is the same every year, and everyone is used to seeing the reckless men of Yanshan rushing in and out, and they are even too lazy to be on guard. When Yanshan was poached by Medicine King Palace, apart from the Zifei sect who supported Medicine King Palace, the other sects had the same attitude, just sit there and watch the show, it had nothing to do with them anyway. This time, the Zifei sect set a trap for Yanshan and wanted to interfere in the affairs of Yanshan's secret realm. The other sects still had the same attitude, just sit there and watch the show, it had nothing to do with them anyway. Yi Yusong brought rare materials to Yuanliu's sect this time, not expecting Yuanliu's sect to help him, but just wanted to get a neutral referee to save him from wasting time arguing with Zifei sect. The Earth Core Fluid and Bai Luo Crystal are both treasures that can strengthen the meridians. Before Zhu Fan appeared, these things were rare goods, and after Zhu Fan appeared, they were just put in the corner and were not needed at all. Moreover, after the transaction with the Medicine King Palace, it is estimated that those people are also researching day and night to integrate the cow-filled-up pointing triangle into the elixir. By then, all the materials for strengthening the meridians will definitely be greatly reduced in price. Therefore, it would be best to give it away as a favor while it is still valuable. Yi Yusong met the leader of Yuanliu's sect very easily. After all, there had never been any friction between the two sides. Yuanliu's sect was a famous and large sect after all, so it would not lack the proper etiquette. At first, the leader of Yuanliu's sect thought that Yi Yusong wanted him to come over to help out, and he felt a little conflicted. But Yi Yusong said that this material is just an appearance fee for you. You don't need to do anything. You just need to be a fair referee and middleman. The leader of Yuanliu's sect thought to himself that he could get the treasure just by showing his face outside without having to put in much effort. It would be pure profit, so he agreed immediately. So the representatives of Yuanliu's sect, Zifei's sect and Yanshan decided on a place and gathered there to discuss matters. From the beginning, the people of Zifei's sect put all the blame on sect leader Yanshan, saying that Jìyú had attacked their sect's secret realm without any reason, which caused the destruction of their secret realm and affected the cultivation of many disciples, and that Yanshan must pay compensation. Fortunately, Yi Yusong had tied up Jìyú in the sect in advance, otherwise, if he had heard these words, he might have rolled up his sleeves and rushed over to fight. Yi Yusong pretended to be weak and agreed to a certain amount of compensation. As he expected, the other party began to take advantage of him and wanted to force the disciples of Zifei's sect into the secret realm of Yanshan. Zifei Zong said confidently, "You destroyed our secret realm and delayed our disciples' cultivation. Then you should let our disciples cultivate in your secret realm." Yi Yusong sneered, "Who doesn't know that your Jingjian secret realm has almost run out of spirit qi? Your core disciples have already switched to the secret realm for cultivation." The Zifei sect still wanted to lie with open eyes, but Yi Yusong slapped them in the face when he produced the evidence of their secret realm spirit qi depletion. But even so, they still shamelessly act like scoundrels. Even if it's almost exhausted, so what? It can still be used. We still have disciples who will go there to practice. You, Yanshan, have still delayed the practice of many of our disciples. Yi Yusong wanted to roll his eyes, but because the action was not elegant enough, he held back. Your crappy secret realm is only used by some outer disciples to cultivate. Do you think you can exchange this for our qualification to comprehend the secret realm? You're dreaming. We in the Zifei sect treat inner and outer disciples equally. Even if the interests of outer disciples are harmed, we will seek justice for them. Oh, then we also have other secret realms specifically for outer disciples to practice. Bring those outer disciples here and we will make arrangements. That won't do. Who knows what you will arrange? The Zifei sect acted like a rogue, but Yi Yusong was determined not to suffer any loss, so the situation remained at a stalemate. The head of the Yuanliu sect, who was sitting nearby, drank tea for a long time but had no intention of joining in. After all, Yi Yusong said that he was only here to act as a middleman, and there was no need to get involved and cause displeasure to the other party. After that, Zifei Zong argued with Yan Shan for a long time. Finally, Yi Yusong seemed to be impatient and slammed the table and said, "We will pay you back for what you owe us. You know how much your broken secret realm is worth. If you still want to use our Zuowu secret realm, then you have to pay. You know how much the secret realm opportunity to improve your understanding is worth. It's up to you to arrange as many people as you want. I'll let you in if you pay. If you want to get something for free, HMPH, just ask our leader if he agrees. At worst, we can just have a fight. Whoever wins gets to say the final word, and whoever loses shuts up." When the Zifei sect saw that Yi Yusong seemed to be really angry, they calmed down a little. In the previous Immortal Gate competitions, the reason why Zifei sect was able to suppress Yanshan was not because of its brute strength, but because of various, tactics, and the cooperation with the reckless men. If we really confront them head-on. As the saying goes, the soft is afraid of the hard is afraid of the tough is afraid of the desperate. The Yanshan ruffians are a group of stupid and reckless people. Especially the head of Yanshan, who is known as the most reckless person in the Immortal World. Now that Yusong agreed that they could go to Zuaowu secret realm, the Zifei sect's goal was achieved. After all, a secret realm whose spirit chi was almost exhausted was exchanged for free compensation and the opportunity to improve one's comprehension. No matter how you look at it, the Zifei sect made a profit this time. So a few people from the Zifei sect got together to discuss it, and when they thought it was a good idea, they agreed, and then started arguing with Yusong about the price of the quota. The price of the quota offered by Yusong was naturally not low. After all, it could improve one's understanding, which would be of great benefit to one's practice even for a short time. The people of Zifei sect wanted to bargain again, so Yusong asked the head of Yuanliu sect what the price was. If the head of Yuanliu sect thought it was appropriate, Yanshan could also sell a few places to Yuanliu sect. After hearing this, the leader of Yuanliu sect was excited. He didn't expect that he would get an appearance fee and a spot in Zuaowu secret realm just for going out. Although it is Yanshan who is selling the quota at a price, it is not bad. After all, it costs a lot of spirit stones and rare materials to activate this kind of rare secret realm every time. When all sects open this kind of secret realm, they will definitely focus on their own disciples. How could they sell it? Although this price is a bit expensive, it is still appropriate. After all, it can improve your understanding. Therefore, the leader of Yuanliu's sect agreed immediately, fearing that Yusong would go back on his word. When the Zifei sect saw that the leader of the Yuanliu sect had agreed, they stopped talking. After all, they had made a profit from this trip. After the two parties reached an agreement, Yusong turned away, flying very fast. The representative of Zifei sect, who thought he had defeated Yusong, held his head high and sent a message to the sect leader, showing off his achievements. He almost smiled crookedly when he heard the sect leader's praise. Humph, he said Yusong was the only one with brains in Yanshan, but he's nothing special, and he still took advantage of him. Yusong, who had just left angrily, was now trying hard to tighten the skin on his face, for fear that he would accidentally laugh and be heard by the other party. He made a profit by selling the quota to Zifei sect, and made another profit by selling the quota to Yuanliu sect. Those compensations and materials given out are nothing compared to the money earned from selling the places. Yusong, who had been trying to hold back his laughter all the way, finally couldn't help laughing out loud after returning to Yanshan. Then he went to Zuaowu secret realm and found the formation master who maintained the secret realm, and together with him modified the layout of Zuaowu secret realm. Zifei Zong wants to come in and warm himself by the fire, right? I'll roast all of you, physical. Chapter 83, Shui Mei Niang is so cute. The day to open the secret realm is coming soon. A large group of people from the Zifei sect flew to the territory of Yanshan. In addition to the inner disciples and direct disciples, many elders also came. It turns out that these shameless old thieves saw an opportunity to take advantage of the situation and came to the secret realm to take advantage of it. Anyway, when the transaction was made, there was no stipulation that the quota must be given to disciples, so what if a few of my elders come over? Zifei Zong looked very righteous and had already thought of how to refute Yan Shan if he objected. But Yusong said nothing. He just looked at them coldly and continued to arrange the secret realm. The Zifei sect was so proud, and they felt so happy seeing Yusong's speechless look. But what they didn't know was that Yusong gave the formation master who maintained the secret realm a look with a clear meaning. Once they get in, open fire at maximum power. These thieves can't be roasted to death. After all the people from Yuanliu's sect arrived, Yusong began to make arrangements. Yusong informed Yuanliu sect and Zifei sect that they needed to enter one after another, on the grounds that the secret realm could only accommodate a limited number of people. After one sect came out, the next one would go in, and let them decide the order themselves. The leading elder of the Purple Jade sect rolled his eyes and asked. Then when will the disciples of Yanshan enter? Yusong. You are a guest from afar, please let the guest go in first. It's okay for my disciples to wait for a while. The leading elder of the Purple Jade sect immediately laughed and said. We have a long-standing friendship with Yanshan, so let Yuanliu sect enter first, and we can follow in with Yanshan disciples. The leading elder of Zifei sect thought that Yi Yusong might design something to trick them, but if they followed Yanshan's disciples in, then it wouldn't be a big problem. Yanshan wouldn't want to trick even his own disciples, right? So let Yuanliamen go in and investigate first. When they come out, we can learn from them. The people from Yuanliu sect also saw what the people from Zifei sect were thinking, but they were too lazy to argue with them. This is not about fighting over rare treasures. Everyone has a share anyway. It is too cheap to bring disciples here to argue with these old guys. We should just quickly enter the secret realm and gain enlightenment. So the people from Yuanliu sect gathered together and prepared to go in. Then Yi Yusong told them some precautions, and it was best to take off all the protective law weapons on their bodies, otherwise it might affect the effect of spirit fire, and it was best to go in and out shirtless. Yuanliamen had no grudges against them, and they were big customers who paid money. Yi Yusong would not deliberately cheat them. It was also the habit of those reckless men in Yanshan to go in and out shirtless. Although the disciples of Yuanliu sect were a little uncomfortable with such an unrestrained approach, they still followed Yi Yusong's advice for the sake of cultivation. Except for the female disciples who were still wearing thinner clothes, the rest of the male disciples were left with only their pants. The people from the Zifei sect were staring at them without blinking. Don't get me wrong, although these people are a bit shameless, they are not so lustful. They estimated that Yi Yusong would not give any good advice to the Zifei sect, so they wanted to listen to what Yi Yusong said to the people from the Yuanliu sect, and then see what the people from the Yuanliu sect did, and then they would do the same. The Zifei sect thought that there was nothing wrong with this idea, but they didn't realize that the way they stared at people had already angered the people from the Yuanliu sect. After all, it is already embarrassing for people to take off their clothes for cultivation. If you, from the Zifei sect, still look at them like this, anyone would misunderstand. The leader of Yuanliu sect frowned and asked Yi Yusong to open the secret realm quickly and complete the training. When he returns to Yuanliu sect, he must tell the sect leader how shameless the Zifei sect is. He is a cultivator, but at his old age he is still staring at his young and lovely female disciple. What a shameless pervert. Bah! If this wasn't the territory of Yanshanmen, he might have been unable to resist taking action. The moment the entrance to Zuaowu's secret realm opened, everyone was stunned by the overwhelming heat. Fellow Taoists of Yuanliu sect, please. After Yi Yusong opened the secret realm, he let the people from Yuanliu sect in. The leader of Yuanliu sect bowed to Yi Yusong to express his gratitude, then flew in with his disciples. They have to endure the burning of the spirit fire for at least an hour before they can improve their understanding for a period of time afterwards. There was no need for Yi Yusong and other Yanshan disciples to wait here. After closing the secret realm, they left a group of elders here to guard against the Zifei sect and took the disciples away. The Zifei sect didn't think there was anything wrong with it. Given the relationship between the two sects, it would be a problem if Yi Yusong invited him over for tea in a friendly manner. It didn't matter to them. The elder of Zifei sect simply asked the disciples to meditate and practice on the spot. Anyway, an hour passed quickly. After Yi Yusong and his disciples left, they all flew to Kushang Hall. Zhu Fan prepared a lot of delicious food for everyone that would be used later. My fellow brothers, this dessert is called Snow Mei Niang. After eating it, it can increase your resistance to fire for a certain period of time. Zhu Fan held the box and gave 3 to each person, asking the Yanshan disciples to eat one before entering the secret realm. If they could not withstand the fierce fire in the secret realm, they could eat another one. So cute. When the disciples saw this white, tender, plump and soft ball, they were immediately delighted. Holding the snow meringue in your hand, the milky white glutinous rice skin is very soft and reveals a hint of coolness. With a slight poke of the finger, a small round pit appears, but it quickly returns to its original chubby shape, which is very cute. The disciples carefully picked up the lovely dumplings. Some were reluctant to eat them, but they couldn't resist the temptation of the sweet taste. In order to resist the heat in the secret realm, Zhu Fan made ice cream snow meringue, using ice cream instead of cream. It is sweeter and the icy taste is very refreshing. When you take a bite, the soft glutinous rice skin has some elasticity, and the cool and sweet ice cream filling inside slides into your mouth. The aroma of glutinous rice and milk spreads like the first snow in winter. The sweetness melts on the tip of the tongue and then melts into the heart. The disciples ate with such relish that they resisted the urge to eat the remaining two in their storage rings instead of eating them all. In addition to Shui Mei Niang, Zhu Fan also prepared another powerful weapon for his disciples. After listening to Zhu Fan's explanation, everyone suddenly showed a sly smile on their faces, ready to present Zifei Zong with an unforgettable trip to the secret realm. An hour later, the people from Yuanliu sect came out with rosy faces. On the one hand, it is because it is hot, and on the other hand, it is because it is really effective in improving understanding. Some of the problems that disciples have encountered in the past have been well solved here. Everyone in Yuanliu sect was dressed neatly and thanked Yi Yusong for giving them this opportunity. The disciples of Yuanliu sect all had a better impression of Yanshan. The people from the Zifei sect wanted to get close to them and find out more about the situation. The leader of Yuanliu sect couldn't help but clench his fists when he thought of the way those bastards had just stared at his female disciple. Immediately, he said in a cold voice that they had something else to do and needed to go ahead, and then he left with his disciples. The people from Zifei sect were met with a cold shoulder and felt a little embarrassed for a moment. Looking at Yi Yusong's slightly mocking expression, the elder of Zifei sect frowned and urged Yi Yusong to open the secret realm quickly. As expected, Yi Yusong did not give them any suggestions. The elders of Zifei sect asked the disciples to follow the example of Yuanliu sect before, taking off their clothes and weapons, and each of them only wore pants to prepare to enter the venue. Seeing this, Yi Yusong, whose plan had succeeded, tried hard to suppress the smile on his face and opened the secret realm to let everyone in. Braving the heat wave, Zifei Zong rushed in behind Yan Shan and his group. Once inside the secret realm, their shoeless feet stepped directly onto the hot stone slabs. Suddenly, there was a sizzling sound, very much like the sound of teppanyaki. Everyone from the Purple Jade sect, UDU holy shit, ah. Chapter 84. This first step will make it impossible for them to do anything. Branding is an ancient form of torture invented in the Shang dynasty. In modern times full of humanism, this punishment has been active in Baga film and television dramas, letting people know what kind of existence it is. At this moment, although the people of Zifei sect did not know what branding was, they could now deeply understand how cruel and inhumane that dark punishment was. The severe pain from their feet made them scream and they subconsciously flew high up, activating their spiritual power to protect their bodies and heal their battered souls. The physical fitness of immortal cultivators is indeed strong, but the spirit fire is also not to be underestimated. Moreover, Yi Yusong specially took out more spirit stones and invested them into the secret realm, which directly added fuel to the fire and doubled the strength of the spirit fire's transcendent level. Even though everyone from the Purple Fae sect was just floating in the air at this moment, they were still feeling very uncomfortable due to the high temperature in the secret realm. What's more, from time to time, spirit fire would get drunk and jump up and hit them in the face. Everyone in the Zifei sect was sweating and frowning as they thought. But before they could come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they suddenly heard a burst of laughter coming from the front. Oh, can't you bear the temperature of Zifei sect? Is it okay, little dog? Why aren't you warming yourself by the fire? Don't you like to improve your understanding? Everyone from the Zifei sect looked down and saw Elder Yanshan and several disciples looking at them with extremely mocking eyes. The leader of the Zifei sect clenched his fists, obviously very unhappy about being ridiculed. But it's hard to refute. Because those people from Yanshan also walked in with bare chests. We all took off our law weapons and walked barefoot on the ground. Why is your Zifei sect so lame? The leader of the Zifei sect felt something was wrong. No matter how tough and reckless these ruffians are, their cultivation levels are pretty much the same. The physical difference is definitely not so big that I can't stand it while you seem to be unscathed. Moreover, the cultivator from Yuanliu sect was in a normal condition when he came out just now. How could he be so embarrassed like them? The leader of the Zifei sect frowned and thought, but he couldn't figure out the reason for a moment, but he was roughly certain that Yanshan must have hidden something from them. Perhaps they are secretly using spiritual power to resist spirit fire. That's not right. Isn't the purpose of the secret realm to use the temperature of the spirit fire to flesh, refining the body and will, so as to strengthen the body and improve the understanding at the same time? However, these things were not said by Yanshan, but were speculated by outsiders based on places like Zhuaowu's secret realm. Because of the lack of information about Zhuaowu's secret realm, Zifei sect frowned and stood there for a while, unable to move forward or backward. After the Yanshan disciples finished laughing, they ignored them and walked inside together. Elder, they went inside. A disciple from the Zifei sect wiped the sweat from his head and pointed in the direction where the disciples from Yanshan sect left. Everyone, use your spiritual power to protect your bodies for the time being and follow them. The elders of Zifei sect thought it would be better to follow the actions of Yanshan disciples. Maybe the enlightenment of secret realm requires physical contact with the ground. Maybe the place they are going to is the best place in secret realm. So everyone from the Zifei sect landed, circulated their spiritual energy, endured the burning sensation from the soles of their feet, and followed the Yanshan disciples inside. The Yanshan disciple who was walking at the end watched the actions of the Zifei sect and quietly sent a message to everyone. Elder, just as the deputy had said, the people from the Purple Jade sect really followed our lead and came in. Very good, act according to the plan. Whoever can't stand the high temperature will eat a snowball. Elder Yanshan ordered. In the past, the temperature of the secret realm would not be so high, and the disciples participating in the secret realm would not have used some methods to resist the high temperature. After all, the secret realm needs to be roasted by the spirit fire in order to improve your understanding. What if the effect is not good after you resist the spirit fire? This is why the people of Zifei sect did not dare to use too many means to resist spirit fire. After all, everyone in the Zifei sect had put in a lot of effort and spent a lot of money to get the quota, but if I use my spiritual power to resist, I will lose the opportunity to improve my understanding. Isn't it just a waste? Therefore, everyone in Zifei sect endured it and imitated the disciples of Yanshan and were burned to the ground by spirit fire. But they didn't know that the disciples of Yanshan no longer cared about the little bit of money given by Zhuaowu's secret realm. I can only understand for a quarter of an hour by baking here. But if I show off a few dishes in the frame of junior brother Zhu, I can understand for an hour. Only a fool would continue to bake here. The disciples of Yanshan are just reckless, but not stupid, so they can naturally figure out such basic calculations. If it wasn't for the purpose of venting the anger of the sect master and earning the spirit stone of the Purple Face sect, Yiyusong would not have wanted to open this secret realm. The disciples of Yanshan also knew that Zifei sect had set a trap for Jìyú, and were now preparing to retaliate according to the plan. By the time everyone reached the innermost part of the secret realm, which was the hottest place in the secret realm, everyone from the Zifei sect was already sweating profusely. The disciples of Yanshan also felt that it was a bit difficult to bear, so they secretly took out Shui Miniang from the storage ring. The temperature in there was so high that it almost melted the moment Shui Mei Niang took it out. Fortunately, the disciples were quick-eyed and quick-mouthed and caught it directly with their mouths, so this delicacy was not wasted. Seeing that they had reached the innermost part of the secret realm, the people of Zifei sect and the disciples of Yanshan decided not to leave either. They estimated that this was the place where the spirit fire was most effective, and planned to practice and gain insights here. If it were a normal secret realm, they would have already been meditating and practicing, but this place. I guess after an hour, their buttocks will be cooked by the heat. So everyone in the Zifei sect stopped their actions and decided to see what the Yanshan disciples would do. As a result, the Yanshan disciples were unable to perform the first operation. All the Yanshan disciples actually took out a roasted chicken from their storage rings, put a stick in it and roasted it on the spirit fire. Everyone in the Zifei sect was stunned. What is this operation? Why did you bring roast chicken? Still roasting with spirit fire in the secret realm. Is this also part of the secret realm training? Should we learn it? But we didn't bring any roast chicken. While everyone in the Zifei sect was confused, the Yanshan disciples took out the secret sauce that Zhu Fan had prepared for them and quickly spread the sauce on the roast chicken. This roast chicken was specially marinated by Zhu Fan this morning. First, he boiled water with sautéed scallions and ginger, then added 5-spice powder, chicken essence, cooking wine, salt, sugar, oyster sauce and other spices to make a sauce and soaked the chicken in it. Then apply other spice powders evenly on the outside of the whole chicken, marinating the chicken inside and out. Zhu Fan was still worried that his disciples might not grill the chicken well, so he wrapped the whole chicken and cooked it half-cooked. Then he gave the disciples the sauce that was applied on the outside and told them how to use it. No matter how skilled the Yanshan disciples are in the kitchen, they can still accomplish this simple operation of holding the chicken in one hand and brushing the sauce with the other. They just need to be careful not to let the spirit fire burn the chicken directly. However, this chicken was a rank 3 monster from Gongwu Peak, so it was quite resistant to roasting. The Yanshan disciples brushed the sauce on it while rotating and keeping a close eye on the heat. The sauce dripped onto the flame, making a crackling sound. The chicken skin gradually turned into a bright golden color under the scorching flame, and the juice was slowly roasted out and dripped onto the ground, making a sizzling sound. Along with the juice and sauce, the aroma of the roast chicken slowly diffused, going straight into people's noses, causing the Yanshan disciples to swallow their saliva. The disciples of Yanshan were like this, and the people of Zifei sect not far away were almost going crazy at this time. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 85. You are roasting chicken here, how are you going to improve your understanding later? Friends who often eat barbecue probably know one thing, that is, charcoal barbecue tastes better than iron plate barbecue. This is not an illusion, but because when grilling, the flame, which serves as a heat source, is closer to the food. The high-temperature flame produces a Maillard reaction on the surface of the food, stimulating a rich aroma. At this moment, the crazy saliva secreted by the Yanshan disciples while roasting the chicken proved how overbearing the aroma was. The people from the Purple Jade sect who were not far away. First of all, this secret realm is closed, which means that the aroma of the roast chicken will linger in the secret realm for a long time and cannot float out. Secondly, the temperature of this secret realm is very high. The higher the temperature, the more active the molecular movement, and the more obvious the aroma. Finally, the group of people coming from the Zifei sect were all inner sect disciples with higher cultivation levels, as well as elders. The higher the cultivation level, the sharper the 5 senses. When these 3 factors are combined, just imagine the impact. It is no less than the impact I had when I first smelled the cow through the wooden puppet. Then, the bodies of the people in Zifei sect were out of control, and they performed what was called thousands of drops merging into a river, which seemed like the Milky Way falling from the sky. The saliva rushed down like a waterfall, rushed out of the mouth, fell to the ground, and made a continuous, sizzling sound on the hot stone slabs. How can one say that he is a high-level cultivator? The amount of water he spit out is far beyond the reach of ordinary people. Everyone in the Zifei sect has never experienced such a great temptation in their lives. The desire for food is the most basic instinct of living things. Even cultivators find it difficult to resist this instinctive reaction at this time. All his consciousness was focused on his eyes and nose, staring at the fragrant roast chicken, and he almost didn't feel the pain on the soles of his feet. Then, their stomachs rumbled, deafeningly. What's that noise? It's disturbing my eyes. Elder Yanshan deliberately shook the roasted chicken in his hand, then squinted at the people from Zifei sect. Hey, fellow Taoists of the Purple Jade sect, why aren't you practicing quickly? You paid a lot of money to get here, don't waste it. If you don't practice and miss the time for enlightenment due to your own reasons, we at Yanshan will not refund your money. Everyone from the Purple Jade sect. Do you think we don't want to practice? If you want us to practice well, just take away your roast chicken divine ability. The elder of Zifei sect gritted his teeth. He had known for a long time that Yanshan and his gang would definitely create some obstacles. He had done a lot of rehearsals beforehand and also asked Yuanliu sect to go into the secret realm first to scout the way. In the end, Yuanliu sect ignored him. He wanted to see how the disciples of Yanshan practiced, but the people of Yanshan were actually roasting chicken in the secret realm. What an outrageous method. After practicing Taoism for so long, everyone has been fasting, so who would still want to eat roasted chicken? However, the aroma of the roasted chicken in the hands of Yanshan disciples was so exciting that it made them feel uneasy. The elder of Zifei sect really wants to ask, doesn't your Yanshan practice in the secret realm? How are you going to attain enlightenment while you're roasting chicken here? Don't you want this precious opportunity to improve your understanding? How many spirit stones are needed to open a secret realm? How many spirit stone mines do you have in Yanshan? It's so wasteful. The elder of the Purple Jade Sect opened his mouth to speak, but as soon as he opened his mouth, saliva gushed out, and he couldn't control himself at all. Ah! Several Yanshan disciples showed disgust on their faces and moved to the side, fearing that they would be sprayed by the old guy's saliva. The elder of Zifei Sect was both ashamed and angry. He tried hard to control the movements in his stomach, not wanting to embarrass himself in front of Yanshan and his gang. He simply sent a secret message to everyone in the Purple Jade Sect. Let's go to a place a little outside. Anyway, I can't learn any cultivation methods by staying here. I can't learn how to roast chicken from others, right? Rather than being embarrassed and laughed at by the disciples of Yanshan, it is better to practice quietly outside and seize the precious opportunity to improve yourself. When everyone from the Zifei sect heard the voice transmission, they pursed their lips tightly, turned around and followed. Before leaving, the way they looked at the roasted chicken was full of lingering love and reluctance to leave. But even so, they didn't say anything to the people from Yanshan. After all, the relationship between the two sects had basically been torn apart. Even if they spoke up, the disciples of Yanshan would definitely not give them a single cent. Therefore, it is better to leave this place with your identity and style and concentrate on cultivation. The people from the Zifei sect walked to a slightly further away, separated from the people from Yanshan by a large rock, and then practiced hard to improve their understanding. The purpose is correct and there is nothing wrong with it, but I really can't resist the fragrance that keeps drilling into my nose. As the disciples were practicing, they began to drool all over themselves. Concentrate on your practice, calm your mind and concentrate. The elder of Zifei sect wiped his saliva and reprimanded the inattentive disciples. Just survive this 1 hour. Don't forget that we are here for the opportunity to attain enlightenment. The disciples gritted their teeth and nodded, trying to isolate themselves from the scent. The elder is right. It only takes 1 hour. As long as it can improve my understanding. Having said that, this hour is really long. Everyone in the Zifei sect was torn between their conscience and their desires. Their rational mind was trying hard to practice well, but their desires were making them want to rush in and grab the roast chicken and eat it. But it is impossible to steal the chicken. It is impossible in the territory of Yanshan. If they dare to take action first, who knows what those reckless men in Yanshan will do. The people of the Zifei sect could only hold on like umbrellas in a storm. On the other side, Elder Yanshan was drawing a light screen, projecting the appearance of everyone in the Zifei sect. Looking at the way those people were holding on, with their distorted faces. Elder Yanshan and his disciples were so happy that they ate the chicken comfortably. It was so cool to watch them eat. This was not enough. Elder Yanshan also used the wind technique to blow wisps of wind, carrying the fragrance out, determined to give them an unforgettable secret realm experience. By the way, I also used a photo stone to record these scenes, and plan to send 10 or 100 copies to my fellow disciples in Yanshan so that everyone can have fun together. For everyone in the Zifei sect, this long hour was finally over. The heat of spirit fire began to slowly fade, indicating that the time for this secret realm was about to come. As the heat subsided, everyone in the Purple Fae sect gradually felt a sense of comfort. Friends in the north should be able to understand that the light and fluttering feeling after each steaming session is so refreshing. Everyone in the Zifei sect was concentrating on feeling it, cherishing the time for enlightenment at this moment. Previously, my technique should be like this, and then I should eat some grilled chicken wings. My sword skills can be like this, and then I can cut a chicken leg. Everyone from the Purple Jade sect. Damn it. During this rare time for enlightenment, don't let the roast chicken touch me. Everyone in the Zifei sect was angry and greedy, but they still tried hard to concentrate their thoughts and comprehend the skills. However, some things cannot be ignored just because you say you don't want to think about them. The harder you try to control them, the more you care about them. When the enlightenment time was over, the faces of everyone in the Zifei sect were full of colors. Time for enlightenment is indeed a good thing. But because my mind was full of roast chicken, most of the time I could have spent on enlightenment was wasted. When the people of Zifei sect thought of the precious time that had just been wasted, they couldn't help but grit their teeth. The elder of Zifei sect had a gloomy face and was about to lead everyone to leave the secret realm of roast chicken, but after thinking for a while, he quietly walked over to take a look at the disciples of Yanshan. Humph, these people from Yanshan sect have been using some tricks to influence them just now, so the time they spend practicing spirit fire must have been shortened a lot, right? Although we wasted some time because of your methods, at least we resisted the painful burning and practiced seriously for a long time. The gains will definitely be better than you guys who just roast chicken and eat chicken without practicing. The elder of Zifei sect thought so, and then took his men to secretly glance at the Yanshan disciples. As a result, we saw that Elder Yanshan was protecting his disciples, and the spiritual shield was full of disciples who were cultivating and striving for enlightenment. Elder Yanshan looked at the people from the Zifei sect who sneaked over, and the corner of his mouth twitched, revealing a contemptuous smile. So soon. You guys really don't last long. Everyone from the Purple Jade sect. Isn't it said that the longer you practice while being burned by spirit fire, the longer it will take to reach enlightenment? Why is it that they take longer to attain enlightenment than we do in half a day of practice while eating and drinking roasted chicken? Is the spirit fire burning method fake? Should we eat, drink and have fun in the secret realm to achieve enlightenment longer? Then why did we get burned so badly just now? Everyone in the Purple Jade sect suddenly lost their minds. Chapter 86 Give him a mountain view apartment. The elder of the Purple Face sect didn't want to stay in the secret realm and be ridiculed, so he left with his disciples. I thought I would be alright after leaving secret realm, but I didn't expect that. As soon as I came out, I saw the lively scene of the Yanshan sect members. Then they saw the head of Yanshan, Jìyú, and Yusong, along with a large group of elders and disciples, squatting outside the secret realm, each holding a roasted chicken in one hand and making fire gestures with the other, roasting it. Although the outside is not as closed and smelly as the secret realm, there are so many people squatting here. Many of them were grilling and eating at the same time, and they were smacking their lips at them. Everyone in the Zifei sect had distorted expressions on their faces. Thinking back to the time they had lost for enlightenment, they couldn't help but clench their teeth. Fellow Taoists of the Purple Jade sect, how did you harvest this time? My Yanshan's Zuowu secret realm, the effect is good, right? Yusong was all smiles. Just now, a disciple from Yanshan came out and told him the situation inside. He also sent the images recorded by the photo stone to everyone. Sect leader Jìyú looked at the appearance of everyone in the Purple Face sect on the screen and laughed so boldly that he accidentally broke the stone door in front of the secret realm. He was being watched by Yusong's clone as he moved stones to repair the door. Oh, thank you all the fellow Taoists of Yanshan for your hospitality. The elder of the Purple Face sect said with a fake smile. I, the Purple Face sect, will remember this favor. We will meet again in the future. After saying that, everyone from the Zifei sect flew away quickly, not wanting to stay here for even a second longer. That night, according to some unreliable news, a group of immortal cultivators from the Purple Face sect inexplicably gathered a group of chefs in a certain city to roast monster chicken for them, and they ate while cursing. But few people believed this gossip. Only the Yanshan disciples smiled mysteriously after hearing the news. The second day. After seeing off Zifei Zong, Zhu Fan continued to eat the mustard octopus while listening to Yusong teaching him the doppelganger technique. After improving his understanding by eating the wasabi octopus, Yusong made a second improvement based on the revised doppelganger technique, adding many functions to the clone and making a major optimization. Zhu Fan ate his food while attending classes and successfully learned a lot. When the time is almost up, Zhu Fan starts preparing lunch. Previously, the head sect leader had brought in a lot of different kinds of seafood from the sea, including shrimps, crabs, octopuses and so on, as well as a lot of fish of various grades. It is estimated that when Jìyú was catching fish, he just waved his hand and scooped up a lot of seawater. In addition to the fish monsters of rank 1 and rank 2, many ordinary sea fish were also caught by him. The meat of the fish monster is not easy to spoil, but ordinary sea fish cannot be kept for too long, so Zhu Fan decided to use the rank 1 fish monster and ordinary sea fish to make a braised sea fish. Sea fish has a strong fishy smell, so before cooking, you can apply some white vinegar or rice vinegar on the fish and mix it evenly, which can effectively remove the fishy smell. To make it easier for the fish to absorb the flavor, you can make more cuts on the back of the fish. The rank 1 fish monster was relatively large, so Zhu Fan simply cut it into appropriate sizes and put it together with other sea fish. Heat oil in a pan and add peppercorns, star anise, green onion and ginger. Make sure to wait until the aroma of the ingredients is released before adding the noodle sauce, so that it will taste fragrant enough. After the sauce is fried until fragrant, pour in cooking wine and soy sauce, then add salt and water and start cooking the sauce. You can put the fish in when the sauce is cooking. Cook over high heat and let the sauce be absorbed into the fish meat to make it taste good. You can add some sugar to enhance the flavor. The slightly sweet aftertaste is also very good. If you like spicy food, you can also add some chili pepper. When the soup becomes thicker, sprinkle some cilantro and minced garlic to enhance the flavor. When the soup is almost gone, the fish is done. When Zhu Fan brought out the braised fish with sauce, he glanced at the situation in the illusion. When I looked up, I saw Lin Qin and a group of artifact refining masters being carried out again. This poor child, except for the first 2 days after entering Yanshan when he was able to eat, he was beaten out of the illusion after a while. Zhu Fan silently sympathized with Lin Qin for a few seconds, then turned his gaze back to the illusion. Previously, because a generous and talkative disciple from the Blazing Blade Peak brought a large group of people here, the competition between the inner disciples and the direct disciples became extremely fierce. On the contrary, the situation of the outer disciples was slightly better. And yesterday, because Jìyú brought many disciples to roast chicken, many outer disciples also knew the situation of Kushang Hall. Therefore, in today's illusion, the number of outer disciples suddenly increased several times, and at a glance, it was crowded with people. Zhu Fan suddenly became a little worried that there wouldn't be enough room for everyone in his place. Maybe the leader really needs to move another mountain here. Also, originally with the help of Shen Ang and others, and with Zhu Fan's breakthrough in simultaneous control and doppelganger technique, the cooking was manageable, but now a large number of outer disciples have come in, and there probably won't be enough food. Zhu Fan continued cooking while thinking about how to solve the problems of venue and number of people. At the same time, outside the realm of illusion and killing. After the artifact refining masters were carried away, the alchemy disciples managed to hold on with the help of the physical cultivation disciples. But even so, as more and more competitors joined in, their fragile little bodies could not withstand the large flow of people and were carried out sideways. No, brother, the 18th plan also failed. Yiden Master's disciples sighed. Although they have also started body tempering, the time is not enough and the effect is not shown so quickly. Don't panic yet. The leading alchemist disciple consoled him. I just noticed that there are many more outer disciples entering the illusion. Maybe this is our chance. Ah. The other alchemists were puzzled. What chance was there? With more people coming, wouldn't the competition be more intense? The leading alchemist disciple smiled and said, think about it, why did junior brother Zhu Fan issue the kitchen assistant task last time? Upon hearing this, the eyes of the other disciples all lit up. Oh, that's right. Because the number of direct disciples and inner disciples has increased dramatically, junior brother Zhu is too busy to handle it, so he issued the task. Yesterday, the deputy head gathered everyone to roast chicken, so that the outer disciples also knew about the existence of Kushangtang. Therefore, the number of outer disciples has doubled today. In this case, junior brother Zhu is likely to issue another mission. For a moment, the alchemist's disciples were eager to try. The last time they tried their hand at cooking, they had a pretty good grasp of the heat control and amount of ingredients. If they hadn't accidentally set the fire in the end, maybe they could be helping in the kitchen now. This opportunity must not be missed. Seeing that the others understood, the leading alchemist disciple nodded in satisfaction and said in a deep voice. This time, we're going to take a three-pronged approach. First, go to the mission hall and take turns to wait. Once junior brother Zhu Fan respawns in the mission hall, notify the others immediately. Secondly, continue to research drugs to fight enemies and drugs to strengthen yourself. Also, don't neglect your daily medicinal baths and body tempering. This way, even if the mission fails, it won't delay the next battle in the fantasy world. The third one. The leading alchemist disciple took out a bunch of spiritual fruits and plants and smiled. After today's fantasy battle is over, I want to go up and visit junior brother Zhu. Who wants to come with me? Ah. Brother, do you want to bribe junior brother Zhu? It's useless. The rules of the illusion are set by the deputy head. Yidan's disciples looked puzzled. Bribery. Learning from each other and discussing development matters, can it be called bribery? The leading alchemist disciple slapped the young disciple on the back of his head in annoyance, then looked at the other alchemists. Don't you think that the Kushongtang has become very crowded because there are too many people? How can this small hill hold so many people? I would like to suggest that junior brother Zhu move to Danju Peak. As for the location, we can ask the elders for suggestions. The leading alchemist disciple mentioned a place, and the other alchemists shouted. The one who is close to the water gets the moon first. Brother, you are such a clever little ghost. And this place is indeed suitable. The alchemists thought this suggestion was brilliant, so they split into two groups, one to provide friendly advice to Zhu Fan. A group of people went to the elders of Danju Peak and proposed to them to give Zhu Fan a mountain view house. Chapter 87. What level am I in being here? The braised mixed fish tasted a little salty, so Zhu Fan quickly made a dish of cold mixed black fungus and sent it out together. To make the cold mixed black fungus, just boil it in boiling water for 2 minutes, drain the water, add some shredded onions and carrots, then mix in some salt, sugar, light soy sauce, balsamic vinegar and chili oil. It's simple and can be done in a few minutes. Yanshan is located in the northeast of Xuanzhou. Many disciples ate mostly freshwater fish before they joined the sect, and ordinary people had few opportunities to taste sea fish from thousands of miles away. Compared to the soft and delicate meat of river fish, the meat of sea fish is firmer and more delicious. After Zhu Fan's meticulous processing, the fishy smell of the braised fish has been removed a lot, and the rich aroma of the sauce wafts around, making it extremely appetizing to smell. The sauce is salty and slightly spicy. During the cooking process, the white fish has completely absorbed the flavor. Use a spoon to scoop up a piece of fish, cover it with some sauce on the rice, and eat it in big mouthfuls. It is so enjoyable. Zhu Fan sincerely feels that the feeling of strengthening his body after practicing is really great. Before, when he ate fish, he always felt it was very troublesome to pick out fish bones, but now he feels comfortable and is not afraid at all. No matter how big or small the fish bone is, it can be digested once it is in your mouth. It feels so satisfying to eat fish in big mouthfuls. Eat a few pieces of fish and then some mixed black fungus to alleviate the slightly salty taste of the sauce. The crunchy sound of chewing wood ear mushrooms is interesting and refreshing. The disciples enjoyed today's delicacies with great praise, and they all looked forward to the day when the master would go to the South Sea for a stroll again. But since a certain muscular man always gets into trouble whenever he goes out, I don't know when the next time will be. After everyone finished their meal and left, Zhu Fan took out the magic record that Yusong had given him and looked at it, preparing to practice some more. Before he had practiced for a while, Zhu Fan suddenly found someone visiting him. He looked over and saw that they were the brothers from Danju Peak, so he greeted them. Good afternoon, fellow brothers. I'm so sorry for disturbing junior brother Zhu Fan's practice just now. No problem. Zhu Fan waved his hand. What do you want, brothers? The leading alchemist bowed and said, we have some matters concerning cultivation that we would like to ask junior brother Zhu for advice. I wonder if junior brother Zhu has time to give us some advice. Zhu Fan. Ah. Want to ask me for advice? Want to learn how to fry the alchemy furnace from me? Brother, what are you worried about? You can't possibly want to transmigrate too. Seeing Zhu Fan's confused look, the leading alchemist took out a few wooden slips and said. Brother Zhu, these are some of the questions we came up with after our failed attempt at spiritual cooking training in the secret realm last time. I have some of my own ideas. Could you please help me take a look? Oh, I see. Okay. When Zhu Fan heard that he was not here to ask about pill refining, he immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Just now, Xiaoliu popped up a few system prompts for him, which were all rewards for reputation tasks. It seems that these senior brothers are indeed working hard on their studies. Zhu Fan was in a good mood after receiving the reward. He took the wooden slip and read it. Hiss. Zhu Fan's expression suddenly became subtle. I saw that the wooden slip was densely filled with various precautions using spiritual power. Since the ancients, wording is quite subtle, I have translated it into words that modern people can understand. Pointing arrow. The impact of adding water to the pot temperature under different conditions. On the differences in cooking vegetable pieces of different sizes and their subsequent development results. Will adding minced meat to green peppers of different lengths cause other changes? This. Zhu Fan looked at the serious looks of his senior brothers and inexplicably thought of a picture. Several senior brothers in white coats were weighing salt with a high-precision electronic scale, measuring water with a measuring cylinder, and heating vegetable soup with a beaker. Well, it's quite outrageous. Zhu Fan scratched his head, not knowing how to explain. In fact, when it comes to cooking, most of the time it's just based on feeling, otherwise there wouldn't be adjectives like, a little, or, appropriate amount. He really didn't expect that the brothers on Danju Peak could write an experimental paper on cooking. These articles immediately made Zhu Fan confused. Looking at the dark circles under the eyes of his senior brothers and their expectant looks, Zhu Fan didn't know what to say, so he could only try to smile. I think what the brothers wrote was very good. I don't have anything to add. Well, maybe sometimes it's okay to just rely on a little feeling. Zhu Fan tried to make his fellow students understand the concept of cooking by feeling. The brothers were delighted after receiving Zhu Fan's approval, but fell into deep thought after hearing what Zhu Fan added. I understand. Junior brother Zhu Fan means that the practice of spiritual cooking is just like a skill. Sometimes it also requires some understanding and inspiration. I see, our actions were a little too rigid. Thank you, junior brother Zhu Fan, for your guidance. The brothers who got the answer were very happy and took out things to give to Zhu Fan. Junior brother Zhu Fan was just practicing magic, but he was willing to take the time to give them guidance. What a generous character. The moved brothers took out more spiritual plants and fruits. Zhu Fan resolutely refused this time, because he felt that he had not provided any help, and this thing was too hot to handle. One of the two parties insisted on giving, while the other did not want to receive. They were in a stalemate when the leading alchemy disciple suddenly received a secret message and showed an ecstatic expression. Then, he looked at Zhu Fan, who was determined not to accept anything, stopped his actions, and smiled. Brother Zhu Fan, if you don't want to accept it, we won't force you. Since you helped us, we will do you a favor. Zhu Fan didn't think he had helped much, he just wanted the brothers to stop forcing him to give him things, so he said. Thank you for your kindness, brothers. I really can't accept these. Brother, when you say help, you mean. Brother Zhu Fan, there are a lot more people here recently. It seems a bit crowded. Do you want to consider moving to a more spacious place? Zhu Fan heard this and thought about it. It is true that it has become crowded recently due to the large number of people, and he has considered solutions. I was thinking before whether I should ask the elders to help expand it, but now the alchemy brothers have made suggestions. Is there a more suitable place? What place do you mean, brother? Brother, follow me and we will find out. Zhu Fan didn't plan to go there directly, but seeing that his senior brothers had taken out the law weapons, he decided to follow them and take a stroll. So, Zhu Fan also took out the law weapon and flew after his senior brother. After a while. Brother, is this the more spacious place you mentioned? Of course. The leading alchemist said with certainty. This is the most spacious place on our Danju Peak. When the disciples come over, it will definitely not be crowded. Zhu Fan. It's quite spacious indeed. But isn't this the place where Huang he used to live? What level am I in? Why am I living here with the Peak Master? Chapter 88. Are you rebelling? No, brother, how can I live here? Zhu Fan waved his hands hastily to refuse. The leading alchemist looked puzzled. Why? Junior brother Zhu, do you think it's not spacious enough? Can we expand it a bit? No, senior brother. Zhu Fan's mouth twitched. Isn't this where the Peak Master lives? Yes, that's why the place is so big. The leading alchemist said as if it was a matter of course. Zhu Fan. Is it G big or not? Is this a question of whether the place is big or not? Zhu Fan was full of black lines on his face. What I mean is, how can I, a little disciple of the heart-building realm, live in the Peak Master's place? I understand the good intentions of my fellow disciples, but this is inappropriate. Besides, the elders would not agree to let a young disciple live here. How could that be? The leading alchemist smiled and said, we just asked the elders, and they were very supportive, so we brought junior brother Zhu Fan here. Zhu Fan. The elders. Very much in favor. Zhu Fan laughed dryly. Brother, you are such a joker. How could the elders agree with this? Brother, you don't believe me. Then follow me. The leading alchemist grabbed Zhu Fan and flew towards the elders without saying a word. He really didn't lie. Just half an hour ago, the alchemy elders, who had just had their fill of food and drink at Kushong Hall, were gathering together to talk. The cause was some things that happened in the secret realm of Yuanliu sect yesterday. After all, Zuaowu secret realm is Yanshan's asset, so Yi Yusong still needs to pay attention to it. Then he saw that the people of Yuanliu sect first used a kind of liquid medicine that could ensure the effect of spirit fire while protecting the body from harm. During the subsequent period of enlightenment, he used Qingming pills to make his mind clearer and made full use of all resources to achieve better results. I guess they have been to similar places before, which is why they are so well prepared. There was no problem with Yuanliu sect's thorough preparations, but the alchemist elders at Danju Peak carefully observed the medicinal liquids and pills used by Yuanliu sect and found that the effects of those pills were much stronger than those made by Danju Peak. There was nothing that could be done about it. Back then, the leader of Danju Peak brought the most talented and best alchemists to the ancient secret realm, but who knew that they would all be defeated. The elders who came to the positions later were all selected from the short people, and they could not compare with those geniuses in terms of talent. And as for Huang he poached a large number of the talented disciples that Yanshan recruited later, so all the years of training were wasted. Although the alchemists of Yuanliu sect are not as good as those of Yaowang Palace, their art has been passed down properly for so many years, unlike Yanshan sect which has been discontinued. Although the remaining elders of Danju Peak are not very talented, their feelings for the sect are unquestionable, otherwise they would not stay here. The elder alchemists compared the gap between the alchemists at Danju Peak and those at Yuanliu sect, and they all felt a little anxious. Yanshan will definitely not look for other noble families, but relying on these people alone, Danju Peak will have a hard time developing in the future. The alchemy masters and elders sighed helplessly. At this time, several disciples suddenly came to ask for a meeting. The alchemy masters and elders were wondering what the disciples wanted, so they let them in. As a result, the disciples asked the elders whether the place where the peak master lived could be given to others to live in. At that time, several elders were so angry that they were fuming. What do you mean by whether it can be given to others to live in? That's where the peak master lives, do you understand? Even if we don't have a peak master at Danju Peak now, we can't just let anyone live here. Several elders were so angry at these ignorant disciples that they were ready to use weapons to teach these troublesome disciples a lesson. As a result, I heard from the disciples that they wanted to invite Zhu Fan to live with them. Then the elder put down the stick in his hand. Oh, Zhu Fan. That's fine, just stay there if you want. Anyway, we had already demolished Huang He's house and built a new one, so it would be nice for Zhu Fan to sleep directly in the new house. The alchemy masters and elders agreed without any hesitation. Then Zhu Fan still didn't believe it, so he was brought before the elders by his senior brothers, only to find out that none of the elders objected at all. Zhu Fan was stunned. No, isn't that the peak master's place? How could you just give it to me so casually? Zhu Fan was still thinking about saying it was inappropriate, but the elders acted so quickly that they flew directly to the small hilltop and moved the Kushong Hall, along with its foundation and the soil on the ground, to the top of Danju Peak. While Zhu Fan was still confused, the guy had already finished moving. Then Zhu Fan was sent to his new home with a confused look on his face. Yi Yusong heard the noise here, came over to take a look, and then chatted with the alchemy elders. The alchemy elders told Yi Yusong about their anxiety yesterday and their thoughts on the future. They didn't arrange Zhu Fan here just for food. Zhu Fan's talent is obvious to everyone. What he made can both strengthen the meridians and improve one's understanding. This is something no one had dared to imagine before. Zhu Fan's future will certainly not be to continue to be a hall master, he will definitely be standing at a higher place. What limits Zhu Fan now is the realm issue, but with his ability, it is only a matter of time. As for how Zhu Fan wants to practice and develop the spiritual chef lineage he created, it is all up to him to decide. If the sect cannot give him guidance, then it will provide some other help. The alchemist's disciples all said that as long as they could help junior brother Zhu Fan, anyone from the entire peak would be willing to help him. Well, it's mainly for junior brother Zhu Fan and the future of the sect, not for packing lunch. Everyone at Danju Peak supported Zhu Fan so much that Yi Yusong certainly had no reason to object. He even went to comfort Zhu Fan and told him to live there with peace of mind, saying that it was okay to tear down the new house and rebuild it if he didn't like it. If more kitchen helpers are needed, the disciples of Danju Peak can be given priority. After all, they have very precise control over the heat and quantity, and those who stay here are all loyal to the sect. Yi Yusong and the other elders made this arrangement, so Zhu Fan accepted it. That night, a housewarming party for Zhu Fan and a welcome party for artifact refining Great Master Lin Quan were held on Danju Peak. Lin Quan's apprentice Lin Qin had been beaten, pummeled, and carried out horizontally in the illusion since the first 2 meals. Tonight, thanks to her master, she finally got to eat. She was so moved that tears welled up in her eyes. The main course tonight is the seafood brought by the head of the sect, Jìyú. Lin Quan liked the steamed shrimp very much before, so Zhu Fan just made a steamed seafood pot so that everyone could eat together. In order to accommodate so many giant seafoods, Zhu Fan drew the blueprints for the steamer and asked Lin Quan to build it. Otherwise, why is he called the Great Master of Artifact Refining? This steamer was made so well that Zhu Fan called him an expert. A variety of seafood is placed on the steamed slices, with a few slices of ginger on top. After all, this seafood monster is of excellent quality, so of course you want to eat it in its original flavor. Porridge is placed under the steamed slices, and the steamed juice falls down with a fresh taste, making delicious seafood porridge, highlighting the fact that there is no waste at all. In addition to steamed seafood, Zhu Fan also made fried squid and spicy conch. Because the squid was too big to be fried in rings, it had to be cut into strips and made into fried squid strips. Large pieces of conch were also cut up and cooked with the regular conch. There were so many delicious dishes that no one knew which one to eat first. The 3 Yi Yusongs ate steamed seafood, fried squid, and spicy conch, which was so delicious. The steamed seafood is sweet and delicious, and the steaming method makes the meat soft and juicy. The seafood porridge below also absorbs the flavor, the rice fragrance mixed with the freshness, it is really soothing to the stomach. The fried squid is crispy on the outside and soft and chewy on the inside, and it tastes even better when dipped in the sauce powder. The spicy conch is even more satisfying. After being cooked for a long time, even the shell is flavorful. Cultivators with good teeth can eat it directly with the shell, without having to use a toothpick to get the meat out. Everyone enjoyed the dinner very much. I wish this kind of thing could happen every day. After finally getting to eat the delicious Lin Qin, I wished I could eat it until I vomited. But vomiting would be a waste, so Lin Qin stopped talking before reaching her limit. Then, she asked Zhu Fan in a low voice. Brother Zhu Fan, can I use the spirit stone to buy some spicy conchs to take away? I want my brothers who are forging Artifact Peak to taste these delicacies. Zhu Fan was relieved when he heard this. It seemed that junior sister Lin Qin had already integrated well into the sect. So he agreed to her request. Lin Qin's face flushed with joy, and she said happily. Great. This will help me win over the hearts and minds of people in Artifact Peak. Zhu Fan. .. Junior sister Lin, did you just put the conversation and thoughts in reverse? Hollow up pointing triangle winking face. Chapter 89. The steward successfully protected the mission hall. Brothers, come quickly. This is the spicy conch and seafood porridge that Brother Zhu Fan asked me to bring to you. Eating it can improve bone strength and increase spiritual power. In the middle of the night, several artifact refining engineers were squatting in the artifact refining room, swinging hammers weakly. After many days of failure, the teachers and students of artifact refining were all a little depressed. Suddenly, everyone smelled a strange fragrance. You can imagine this. You and your colleagues are working overtime in the company late at night, and then a cute girl suddenly brings crayfish, beer and Kellogg's water to bring you midnight snacks. That feeling, that taste, tisk tisk. The teachers and disciples of artifact refining were suddenly energized, and they jumped in front of Lin Qin with a somersault. Zhu Fan brought a lot to Lin Qin, and each artifact refining master and disciple was given a few conchs and a bowl of seafood porridge. After tasting the delicious food they had always dreamed of, the teachers and students of artifact refining went completely crazy. What is this? What is this? Salty, spicy, and crunchy in the mouth, shell is so addictive. The conch meat inside is so soft and tasty. And this bowl of porridge. Why can just ordinary spirit rice porridge have such a delicious taste? The artifact refining masters and students were so excited that they almost licked the bowl clean. The remaining conch juice at the bottom of the basin was scraped away by everyone using their spiritual power. Woohoo! It's really delicious, woohoo! What a wonderful enjoyment this is. The teachers and students of artifact refining felt so comfortable that they almost floated. Lin Qin looked so bright in the eyes of the disciples. This was the best way for a celestial immortal to come down to earth. My fellow brothers, Brother Zhu has moved to Danju Peak because more disciples have come over recently. But even so, we can't give up. Lin Qin clenched his fists, his expression firm. For such a delicious meal, no matter how many difficulties stand in our way, we must work hard to overcome them. We must do whatever it takes to get the chance to eat. Junior sister Lin is right. For delicious food, you can't give up. For delicious food, overcome difficulties. After eating the delicious food, the artifact refining teachers and disciples cried out loudly, and began to forge law weapons with great passion. Lin Qin smiles, the plan goes through square root. The next morning, Zhu Fan woke up from the 100-meter-long bed in his new home, looked towards the door, and several spiritual clones came over with washbasins and towels. Under Yi Yusong's guidance and the powerful blessing of Wasabi Octopus, Zhu Fan's control over his clone became more and more proficient. Just like the richest man in Zihong City, he arranged one person to be responsible for washing the face, one to be responsible for brushing teeth, and one to be responsible for bringing water. Zhu Fan felt the boring life of rich people, it was so comfortable. Although these things can be solved with just one Jingchen Ju, the experience is different. Zhu Fan was very happy to be served by the clone, and finally understood the ease and leisure of Yi Yusong arranging for his clone to go there whenever he had something to do. Zhu Fan walked out of the door and looked around at the extremely spacious mountain view room, feeling a little uncomfortable. The big ones are a bit empty, and I always feel like something is missing. As for the small hill he had previously occupied, the elders told him to do with it as he pleased, and if he didn't want it anymore they could have someone move the hill back. Zhu Fan looked at the empty land, thought for a while, and then awakened the farming bloodline of his flower-growing family. Let's plant some spiritual plants and fruits on the land here and on the small hill. After all, the consumption of food has increased again, so it's not a bad idea to plant more. Zhu Fan doesn't have to do the farming himself. After all, there are special disciples on Danju Peak who are responsible for planting spiritual plants. However, the disciples of Danju Peak mostly plant medicinal herbs and the edible spirit rice is grown by the outer disciples of Gongwu Peak. Zhu Fan thought about it and decided to go to the mission hall to recruit some more people to plant some spiritual plants. However, based on the experience of the previous 2 times, I have to be more cautious this time and never let the disciples destroy the mission hall again. Gongwu Peak, Mission Hall. Hello, manager. I want to issue a task. Zhu Fan greeted the steward very politely. Mission hall manager. He tried to give a loving smile. The manager of the mission hall had a good impression of Zhu Fan. After all, this disciple was extremely talented, had extraordinary skills, and was very polite. It would be better if such a good disciple didn't come to the mission hall. Every time Zhu Fan comes, something goes wrong in the mission hall. The manager also knew that this should not be blamed on Zhu Fan. Zhu Fan had tried hard to stop it before, but those little bastards were rebellious and only cared about fighting. So this time the manager planned to wait until Zhu Fan finished issuing the tasks before making additional arrangements. In short, he must not let those naughty kids fight. Apparently Zhu Fan also knew what was going on, so he modified the task description this time. Task requirements. 4 to 6 disciples can plant spiritual plants. Task content. Plant spirit rice, spirit wheat, spirit fruit and other spiritual plants. Purchase various types of spiritual plant seeds. Task time limit. Long. Mission reward. Several spirit stones. Note. Lunch is not included, please do not fight. Zhu Fan felt that the disciples had beaten him so hard before just because they wanted to pack his lunch. Now we don't care about the food, just give out spirit stones like in other missions, then there's no need for the disciples to fight, right? Zhu Fan thought there was nothing wrong with it. The manager took a look and thought there was nothing wrong with it. This time, Zhu Fan has decided that only outer disciples can take on the mission, and inner disciples and personal disciples will not be inexplicably involved. So the manager put the task up. When it was just posted, there were a few inner disciples nearby who were choosing tasks. When they saw that the person issuing the tasks was Kushongtang, their eyes suddenly lit up. But he found out that the requirement was to be an outer disciple who could grow spiritual plants, so he left disappointed. Seeing this scene, Zhu Fan and the steward breathed a sigh of relief. It looks like there won't be a fight this time. So Zhu Fan went back to Danju Peak. After Zhu Fan left, the manager stood guard at the door of the mission hall, staring closely outside, fearing that some reckless guy would come and cause trouble. The newly arranged defense formation is also on standby at all times to protect the mission hall. Under the steward's focused vigilance, several reckless disciples were all stopped by him. After learning the specific task requirements, they gave up reluctantly. The steward who successfully protected the mission hall was very proud. These inner sect disciples can all use flying law weapons, so they come faster. It is normal that some outer disciples are slow and cannot arrive immediately to take up the task. The manager of the mission hall estimated that the outer disciples would be here in a while. When the task is issued, I won't have to squat at the door so nervously. But the manager waited and waited for a long time, but the outer disciples did not come to take over the task. What's going on? Even if it is an ordinary task of planting spiritual plants, there are some outer disciples who will take it. What's more, Zhu Fan is not stingy and has plenty of spirit stones, so why wouldn't anyone come? The steward was very confused. After a while, the manager of the mission hall saw several managers in charge of other places rushing out quickly. One of them passed by the mission hall and saw him squatting at the door, and greeted him. "Old son, come quickly and help me." The mission hall manager asked in confusion, "What's going on? Where are you going?" The steward who was talking to him had a gloomy face. "Don't mention it." The road to Gongwu Peak suddenly exploded. Many outer disciples were blown up on the spot and are now stuck down there and can't get up. Mission Hall Manager. Chapter 90. The place where the serial accidents occurred. Let's go back a little in time. Brother, junior brother Zhu is going to the mission hall to distribute missions. Hurry up. We have to get there first this time. Several disciples took action upon hearing the news. Not only the people from Danju Peak, but many other disciples also judged based on the previous experience that as the number of people increased, Zhu Fan would definitely issue tasks again if he was too busy to handle it. Especially the last time, I saw those disciples who were assigned tasks by Zhu Fan in the mission hall. Last time, those disciples were confused as to why someone would issue a task to help in the kitchen. Now whenever I think about it, I wish I could give myself a big bag. Why didn't I pick up at the beginning? Those disciples were so regretful and hateful that they wished they could transmigrate back to slap themselves in the face and snatch the mission away again. This really gave the back teeth a taste of what a high-end game is like. So this time, the disciples were determined to grab the task of helping in the kitchen. Many people had already been waiting there in advance and had arranged some things. But these people had no idea that the alchemist's disciples had already sneaked away and used the luxurious mountain view rooms at the top of the mountain to get the opportunity to work first. The ignorant disciples rushed over. A few of them flew too fast and were caught directly by the manager. Then, after learning about the mission situation, the direct disciples and inner disciples who rushed out the fastest left dejectedly. As they left, more people knew what was going on. So he personally ordered the inner sect disciples to withdraw from the battlefield, and only the outer sect disciples were left flapping their legs to rush forward. However, as they ran wildly, outer disciples of the alchemist group. Junior brother. Thanks to senior brother for bringing junior brother Zhu Fan here, we don't have to fight for it. It's a pity that we had already prepared all the arrangements on the way. Great master, it's okay. We can take it back after the outer disciples have passed. If we go to take it back now, it would be inappropriate if others see our methods. Junior brother, okay, we'll collect them later. Outer disciples of the sound cultivation group. Junior brother, alas, it's a pity that we usually study music and don't know how to grow spiritual plants. Great master, I even borrowed a vibrato recorder from my senior brother and put it on the road. We will take it back after others pass by. Don't let them see our secret weapon. Junior brother. Brother is right. Open HoloLens bracket outer disciples of the Formation Master Group close HoloLens bracket. Junior brother. Alas, we are not looking for a kitchen helper this time. It's a pity that the formation we set up earlier. Great master. It's okay. We can still use it when junior brother Zhu sends us a mission next time. Come, let's set the formation to a disabled state first, so they won't step on it. Junior brother. Brother, what you said makes sense. Other disciples running wildly on the road. Disciple A, did you see that? Those guys from Shenzhen Peak were sneaking around just now. They must have set up a formation there. Disciple B, that's right, but we have to take this road to get to the mission hall. If we climb over the stone wall next to it, it will take a lot of time and someone might get there first. Disciple C, in that case, let's use this. This is the long-burning talisman I got when I was doing the mission before. Although it is not suitable in the illusion, it can still be used here. Long-burning talisman. The fire-burning technique cast by this talisman has a relatively narrow width but a long distance, and can now cover a long distance on the stone steps. The formation master was about to close the formation, but suddenly he saw the disciple take out a big treasure and panicked. Hey, wait, don't use the talisman. Seeing the formation master like this, the other disciples immediately confirmed that this bunch of guys had set up a formation there. He's anxious. He must have set up a formation over there. Junior brother, go ahead. So the disciple lit the talisman with a grim smile. Ah, I've always wanted to see your expressions, the expressions when I destroy the formation in front of you and you can't do anything about it. The flames swept directly towards the stairs ahead. Amid the painful expression on the formation master's face, the frost formation that they had buried for a long time was activated on the spot. They really have hidden a formation. The disciples were very excited that they had cracked the trick of the sixth master, and threw out a few more talismans to make the fire burn further. Then, the long flame touched the front again, where the alchemist had placed the medicine. As we all know, gunpowder, one of the four great inventions, was invented by Taoists by accident during the pill refining process. It makes sense that the alchemist would come up with something that explodes, right? Of course, in order to prevent his fellow disciples from being seriously injured, the alchemist reduced the dosage and power. But this thing still explodes when it encounters fire. Then, with a loud bang, the artwork buried by the alchemists was ignited and exploded. It's not enough just after the explosion. After all, the explosion will produce a shock wave. This shock wave activated the vibration recorder that the sound repairers had placed. The stone steps of Gongwu Peak were first roasted by the high-temperature flames, and then frozen by the frost formation. Stone steps. Thank you, I am cracked. The cracks didn't stop there, as the alchemist's gunpowder exploded, and the sound of the vibrato filled with spiritual power rang out. Give me some curry, boom, boom, boom. It collapsed on the spot, and the disciples looked gloomy. Many disciples who were close to the scene were not only sprayed with dust in their faces, but were also blown away by the shock wave. The long stone steps were only this short distance apart, and the disciple in front somersaulted and fell directly onto the disciples behind him. Countless disciples rolled into a ball on the spot, and some who were unlucky were even hit by the stone steps. Fire plus explosion plus impact plus stampede plus falling objects from high altitude, so many chain accidents are truly extraordinary. The noise was so loud that many elders in charge of Gongwu Peak heard it. They were all confused and hurried out to see what was going on. The elders and stewards flying in the sky stared at the crumbling stone steps, the burning fireworks, and the tremolo recorder that was still playing unyieldingly, and were stunned. What the hell is this? Where is the excellent road that I built at Gongwu Peak? Which B***************** D set the fire here? And what's wrong with your audio editing? What's wrong? My stairs exploded and you're here to accompany me, right? I ask you to accompany me, and if you see how fat I am, I will beat you up and that's it. The elders and stewards of Gongwu Peak were furious for a long time because the road was bombed. Only the manager of the mission hall had a look of insight, as if to say, as expected, and what is coming has finally come. After the disciples started to repair the road, the elder of the mission hall took a few disciples and flew to Zhu Fan. Zhu Fan looked at the mission hall elder's vicissitudes of life and couldn't help but ask in a low voice. Butler, is everything all right in the mission hall this time? Steward. It's okay, the mission hall is intact. Zhu Fan. Ha, that's good. But the road to Gongwu Peak was blown up. The manager sighed. Zhu Fan. Zhu Fan. The mission hall manager reached out and patted Zhu Fan on the shoulder, with a hint of humble pleading in his voice. Take my badge. Next time if you need anything, just tell me and I'll arrange for someone to do it. I won't bother you to send out tasks anymore. Zhu Fan. Okay, thank you, steward. After hearing Zhu Fan's agreement, the manager breathed a sigh of relief, said that he would come back for lunch at noon, and then went back to think about how to reinforce the road on the peak. Zhu Fan also looked helpless. He really didn't expect that. He just wanted to find someone to help him farm, but the result would be like this. Brother Zhu Fan, please rest assured. We are all very good at growing spiritual plants. We have quite a few seeds here. What do you need to plant? Several outer disciples brought by the steward introduced themselves to Zhu Fan enthusiastically. Then Zhu Fan asked what spiritual plants could be planted, and discussed the planting methods and scope with several fellow brothers. Forging Artifact Peak. With the blessing of delicious food, the artifact refining teachers and disciples who had been working all night did not show any signs of fatigue. Instead, they looked at their newly made full-body armor with shining eyes. Junior Sister Lin, thanks to you, we have finally created the law weapon No. 52 full-body armor type. Brothers, don't say that. This is the result of everyone's collective efforts. Lin Qin looked at the red armor in front of her, stroked it gently, and murmured. After many days of hard work, we gather here. It's time to let them know that we should have a place at the dinner table. Chapter 91. The name of this armor is Sizzle. The light golden transparent hot oil wraps around each fried chicken, and the pleasant sound indicates that a wave of delicious food is about to arrive. Zhu Fan gently stirs them with chopsticks to prevent them from sticking together. I made a seafood dinner yesterday, and Zhu Fan wanted to save some effort at noon today, so I decided to make delicious fried chicken which requires little operation and is extremely popular. Remove the internal organs of a young chicken, soak it to remove the blood, clean it, and then soak it in the marinade for a while. You can use a skewer to poke a few more small holes in the meat so that the flavors of the spices can better penetrate into the chicken. When the chicken is almost marinated, carefully coat it with a thick layer of crispy scale coating powder. The fried chicken crispy skin we had previously eaten in KFC and McDonald's was made of this kind of powder. If you don't like it, you can also choose a combination of flour plus starch. The carefully dressed white and plump chicken couldn't wait to be thrown into the embrace of the hot oil, and then fried under high temperature and slowly turned into a beautiful golden color. Shen Ang and Ruan Man, who were helping out, had never seen such a scene before. For a moment, their eyes were almost glued to the frying pan. Upon seeing this, Zhu Fan distributed the fried cakes to several people, not for any other reason, but just to let everyone feel what happiness is. Those who enjoyed the meal were so happy that they felt like they were about to take off. The crispy sound of the puff pastry is transmitted from the teeth and bones to the ears, just like the beautiful music of heaven, announcing the arrival of delicious food. Under the crispy skin, the tender chicken overflows with fragrant juice, filling your mouth and your heart with joy. They never thought that fried food could be so delicious. Brother and sister, try this again. It tastes better if you add some ice cubes before drinking. Zhu Fan handed over the Coke again. Although the Coke sold in the System Mall was not cheap, Zhu Fan still bought it resolutely. Fried chicken without Coke is soulless. A qualified foodie cannot have such regrets. To be fair, to some ancient people, a cup of black, foamy drink seemed to be quite poisonous. But out of trust in Zhu Fan, they resolutely took it and took a big sip. Gulp. Gulp. Several people. What's this? The sweet taste poured into my mouth, and countless bubbles seemed to dance and jump on the tip of my tongue. A feeling of comfort I had never felt before extended from my mouth all the way to my brain. Fried chicken without cola has no soul, but cola with ice cubes makes people so happy that their souls tremble. Shen Ang, Ruan Man and the others finished everything in one breath, and then burped with great relief, as if all the unhappy things had been expelled from their bodies. Several people couldn't help but look at Zhu Fan with longing eyes. This black drink is indeed poisonous. A poison that you will miss terribly if you don't drink it. Don't be anxious, brothers and sisters. Give these to others first, and then we can sit here and eat slowly. No problem. Several people suddenly burst into extremely fiery enthusiasm, and their hands left afterimages while working. While they were happily frying chicken at the top of the mountain, several of the alchemy master's disciples were happily frying people in the illusion. Ha ha ha, art is explosion. A Dan master ignited the explosive bomb impact type 01, which directly blew away several disciples. This was the inspiration he came up with after he blew up Gongwu Peak. Even if the power has not reached the ideal state, the shock wave generated by the explosion can be used to blow people away, and then take this opportunity to run to the exit and grab the front row. The sound of explosions was accompanied by thick smoke and the sounds of countless disciples jumping and cursing, which made the alchemists feel extremely comfortable. Ha 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 ha, go ahead and scream. The angrier you are, the more it proves how successful my explosive bomb, impact type 01, is. The proud alchemists waved their hands and threw out more explosive bombs, impact type 01, quickly. The illusion was filled with rumbling sounds for a while, and several disciples were blown out of the illusion on the spot. The alchemists laughed wildly and rushed to the exit, when suddenly red figures rushed out from the thick smoke and caught up with the alchemists at an extremely fast speed. What? The alchemists stared at the several red figures with wide eyes. These people were tightly wrapped in armor from head to toe. The red armor was shining. Even when they encountered the explosive bomb, impact type 01, they did not suffer too much damage. The armor looks solid and thick but not bulky. It looks mighty and majestic. The flame acceleration device is installed on the feet of the armor, which greatly increases the speed. What is more eye-catching is that the law weapon installed on the hands is like the claws of a shrimp monster, sharp and full of power. The helmet that completely protects the face has 2 holes at the position of the eyes, emitting white light, which seems to be the reason why it can accurately find the correct way out from the smoke. This is. The alchemists were stunned. I'm sorry, fellow brothers from Danju Peak. Lin Qin's voice came out from under the mask, and it sounded a little muffled through the metal. We have been planning for many days, just for today. Today's front row and ordering rights are mine. After saying that, several Artifact Peak disciples activated the jet devices on their feet and sped away. The alchemists tried to stop them, but were all blown away by the armors that burst out with spiritual power. The Artifact Peak disciples rushed straight to the exit as if they were wearing the armor of the god of war. The moment they rushed out of the illusion, the eyes of countless Artifact Peak disciples under their armor became moist. They wanted to shout to the sky and tell everyone about the difficulties they had endured over the past few days. Especially Lin Qin, recalling the past few days with tears in her eyes. On the first day, I was beaten. The next day, I was beaten up along with my fellow brothers. On the third day, I was being knocked away while researching a new law weapon. For many days, she was either being knocked away or being knocked away. Every time she was knocked away, she would study with her brothers to discuss the shortcomings and defects of the armor. How many new proposals have been overturned, revised, reconstructed, and tried again? Many sleepless nights, when I opened the quilt, I saw the blueprints, and when I closed my eyes, I dreamed of forging hammers. Finally, today, we successfully had our meal. Countless disciples shed tears. Lin Qin once again recalled this morning, after forging the number Wu 12 full-body armor type law weapon, the Artifact Peak brothers encouraged each other and celebrated. Junior sister Lin Qin, if you hadn't constantly proposed improvement plans, designed such a special weapon inspired by crayfish, and sent us delicious food to cheer us up, we would definitely not be able to complete our number 52 full-body armor law weapon. So please, name this law weapon. Lin Qin accepted the kindness of the brothers with a smile. Thank you for your kindness, brothers. I won't refuse. This armor is mainly forged with diamond and red iron, and the weapon is made from materials taken from white striped reef crayfish. Then the name of this armor is. Let's call it, Iron Shrimp. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 92 held in advance. Zhu Fan looked at the pile of red armor outside the door in confusion. What's going on? I transmigrated again. What's up with these armored warriors? Brother Zhu Fan. An armored warrior took off his armor, revealing Lin Qin's brilliant smile. We finally did it, we made it here successfully. Lin Qin recounted the hardships and tribulations along the way, and expressed from the bottom of her heart that all the efforts were worth it. Several Artifact Peak disciples expressed with emotion that it was thanks to the motivation brought to us by junior brother Zhu that they were able to successfully forge such a successful law weapon. Without junior brother Zhu Fan, we wouldn't have achieved what we have today. Zhu Fan, I didn't do anything. But the Artifact Peak disciples continued to praise Zhu Fan, which made Zhu Fan so embarrassed that he just put down his lunch and went back. Attracted by the delicious food, the Artifact Peak disciples finally shifted their attention from Zhu Fan to the fried chicken. So fragrant, so crispy, so delicious. A whole chicken is so satisfying. And what is this icy, refreshing drink? What a wonderful taste and combination. Artifact refining teachers and students shed tears while experiencing such hard-earned happiness. After a while, Zhu Fan brought them another snack. If fried chicken and cola are the most suitable CP, then French fries and ketchup should be a match made in heaven that is bound together forever. The golden French fries shine brightly under the sunlight, and the fine salt grains are like the first snow of winter covering the golden ground, adding a silver glow to it. The bright red ketchup covered the side, exuding a sweet and sour aroma, tightly hugging the fries and giving them its own flavor. When you first take a bite, you can taste the sweet and sour taste of tomatoes, followed by the dense interior of the French fries. The edges are slightly burnt, but not too hard, and the crispness and a little salt are just right. The disciples took a bite of fried chicken, a sip of Coke, and a bite of French fries dipped in sauce, and they were so happy that they were about to fly. After rushing out of the illusion, other disciples also joined in this joyful feast. My fellow brothers, this meal has the effect of accelerating the absorption of spiritual power, so after lunch it is best for you to go to the spiritual room to practice in order to maximize the effect. Zhu Fan reminded his disciples, and after hearing this, the disciples thanked Zhu Fan and ate even more happily. It tastes good and has so many benefits. I wish you great success. Broken voice. Yusong was also eating French fries nearby, while sending the operations of the artifact refining masters in today's illusion to Lin Qin and the elders of Artifact Peak. To be honest, a big part of the reason why Lin Qin and the artifact refining disciples were able to grab the front row today was because the alchemy disciples blew away all other competitors. In a head-on clash, the combat level of artifact refining masters is still not as good as that of sword and knife masters, and driving this set of law weapon armor will consume a lot of spiritual power, so endurance is a big problem. Moreover, this set of law weapon seems to be not very sensitive. If a swordsman wears it, it may delay the use of sword moves. But Yusong saw more future in them. First of all, the defense of this thing is really amazing at their level. Some disciples were blown away, but they could still hold on. Then, if your actual combat ability is not good enough, you can practice more. Haven't you seen that those alchemists who used to be killed as soon as they landed have now almost become explosion artists? Moreover, this is the law weapon, a law weapon that can be mass-produced, strengthened, and become more and more powerful. Lin Qin, a 5th grade artifact refining master, can lead a group of disciples to make this. If it is handed over to Lin Quan and other artifact refining great masters, how awesome will the result be? Yusong was very much looking forward to seeing the future development of this set of law weapon armor, so he asked Lin Quan and the others to study it and give it a try. Zhu Fan is really a lucky star. With him around, the disciples have learned more tactics, and the alchemists and artifact refiners have also invented more novel creations. With him in Yanshan, it is really exciting to see how the future will develop. Yusong was chewing French fries and imagining the future, feeling extremely comfortable. But suddenly, an elder's secret voice made him frown, and then he summoned 2 clones, one flew to the main peak, and the other escaped. On the main peak. Is this really the case? No. Yusong asked the elder who reported the news. The elder said angrily, after the detailed discussion between the Purple Fae sect and the Medicine King Palace, they have already sent people to other sects. Although I don't know what other sects mean, those bastards in the Purple Face sect must have some reason for doing this. No. Jìyú pondered for a moment and said, "Don't worry, I have sent another clone to the Medicine King Palace to test the waters. If this is true, don't worry too much." No. Jìyú smiled slightly. "I believe that the current Yanshan disciples will not let us down. South of Xuanzhou. No. 3 Yusong once again transformed into the appearance of Yi Jia the merchant, and visited the Medicine King Temple in the name of replenishing the goods that he had not delivered last time. Feng Changxin and several elders welcomed him into the reception room again. "Oh, I've been to so many places, but the tea here is still the best." The peddler Yi Jia gulped down several mouthfuls. "This is the newly picked Baiwu tea. If fellow Taoist Jia likes it, I'll give you some. The wealthy Medicine King Palace doesn't lack this. It is more important to establish a good relationship with this information dealer. If the transaction goes smoothly, you can get good stuff in advance next time." "Thank you, Master Feng. I will be honored to receive your invitation." The dealer Yi Jia played out the image of the information dealer who loved to take advantage of small profits. Anyway, the Medicine King Palace owed them a large sum of money, so any amount of repayment would be appreciated. "I wonder how Master Feng's research on the spiritual liquid is going." "Not bad, there are some signs of improvement." Feng Changxin smiled on the surface, but he was actually not as nonchalant as he appeared. The Medicine King Palace has tried many times to add spiritual liquid to various elixir combinations, or to create new types of elixirs, but the results always ended in failure. Every time I tried to combine the spiritual liquid with other herbs, it was like turning on some weird switch, causing the medicinal properties of the other herbs to become abnormal. The spiritual liquid is just like a mixed digestion of multiple herbs. It always conflicts with other herbs. I don't understand what's going on. However, Feng Changxin was not in a hurry. After all, it was possible for alchemists to spend several years or even decades researching new recipes, so they would not give up when they encountered setbacks. A lot of spiritual fluid was indeed wasted in the previous experiments. It was a good thing that fellow Taoist Jia came to replenish the stock today. So the Medicine King Hall took out the spirit stone and traded it with the Yi Jia dealer. Yi Jia took the money and smiled even more. "Master Feng, I came here today not just for this deal, but because I have something I want to ask Master Feng about." "Oh." Fellow Taoist Jia, a well-known well-informed person in the Immortal World, actually asked me for information. This is really strange. Feng Changxin smiled on the surface, but in his heart he was wondering what this merchant was trying to do. "Master Feng, I was wandering around Yuanliu sect recently and heard that they seem to be talking about a grand event that takes place once every 10 years. Yi Jia the peddler gave him a look that said, "You know what I am doing." Hearing this, Feng Changxin's expression changed and he looked up to this guy again. This Jia dealer is really well informed. It hasn't been long since they and the Purple Face sect sent a message to other sects, but they didn't expect that this guy already knew about it. Since the other party already knew about it, Feng Changxin didn't need to hide it. He smiled and said, "Fellow Taoist Jia is really well informed. It is just as fellow Taoist Jia said. The Immortal Gate competition, which takes place once every 10 years, will be held ahead of schedule." Chapter 93. Conveniently portable delicious food. The Immortal Gate competition is a grand event held every 10 years in the cultivation world, and young disciples from all the large and small sects in the cultivation world are invited to participate. Although all sects will be invited, in most cases, it is the leading 6 sects that show their powerful strength to the world. Therefore, this Immortal Gate competition has seen very similar situations for several consecutive sessions. Even the board independent cultivator made up a jingle. Sword Palace Sword Master took first place. Yuan Qian took turns to sit in the third and fourth seats. Zifei dug a trap in front of him. Yanshan stepped into the pit with his back foot. In just 4 sentences, the situations of several major competitions over the years were summarized with incredible accuracy. I heard that afterwards, the independent cultivator was troubled by the sword practitioners in Daozan Gorge. Because the sword cultivator was dissatisfied with the fact that the first sect in the jingle was the Sword Palace, he caught the independent cultivator and asked him to change the order. Independent cultivator gave in under their forceful coercion, and the next day after the revision, the Sword Palace came to visit. I don't know what happened next, because the independent cultivator found a place no one knows about and will be in seclusion for dozens or hundreds of years before coming out again. Originally, it had been only 9 years since the last Immortal Gate competition, so it should have been held next year. However, through some secret letters that Yusong buried, he discovered that the Purple Fae Sect and the Medicine King Palace had secretly contacted the other 4 sects, wanting to hold it early this year. The dealer Yi Jia demonstrated his abilities as an intelligence dealer in the Medicine King Palace. Yaowang Hall was fooled by the information dealer and felt that there was no need to hide anything in front of people who knew the truth, so he simply revealed a lot of information to curry favor. The Yi Jia dealer who had obtained the information said goodbye to the Medicine King Hall friends, took the spirit stone and disappeared, returned to the sect, and called a group of people to the main hall to discuss matters. Yi Yusong informed everyone of what he had found out. It has been confirmed that the Immortal Gate competition will be held earlier this year. It was initiated by the Purple Jade sect. How could the others in the Sword Palace agree to this? Did those bastards in the Medicine King Palace bribe them with money? Sect leader Jai Yi frowned. Yes, but no. Yi Yusong said, they have this plan, but other sects will not agree to it for this reason. In the final analysis, it is still because of the seal. Upon hearing the word, seal, everyone in Yanshan fell silent. There are many other factors as well. The guys in Medicine King Hall are really good at taking advantage of every opportunity. Yi Yusong sneered. When I went to inquire today, I vaguely felt that the recent troubles in the Medicine King Palace were caused by the rule set when the Immortal Gate competition was first held. Everyone in Yanshan recalled the original rules, and then immediately thought of the Medicine King Hall's plan. They all started cursing, and for a while, obscene words were heard everywhere in the main hall. Yi Yusong glanced past the angry faces and met a pair of confused eyes. Zhu Fan. Degree. To be honest, Zhu Fan had no idea why he was called to discuss sect affairs, and he had no idea what the Immortal Gate competition was like, so he was completely confused. Yi Yusong thought Zhu Fan didn't know what the rules were, so he asked the others to be quiet and explained to Zhu Fan. Thousands of years ago, the earliest Immortal Gate competition was an Immortal Gate event jointly held by the 6 strongest sects at the time. At that time, the 6 sects set several rules to demonstrate their strength and magnanimity, one of which was, if anyone wants to replace the 6 major sects, they can challenge and bet in the competition. If you win, you can take their place and enjoy the special ancient secret realm, the 6 immortal lands and other resources that only the 6 major sects can master. If you lose, the chips and resources used to make the bet will be given to the challenger. At this point, Yi Yusong chuckled and said, do you know? Actually, my Yanshan was not originally one of the 6 major sects. It was the previous generation leader who challenged and snatched this position. The resources at stake in launching the challenge were not small. At that time, the previous generation's leader directly put pressure on the entire sect, forcing the other party to accept it. Since then, the name of Yanshan, the Reckless Man, has been known throughout the cultivation world. Zhu Fan is stunned. After all, they had been in Yanshan for so long, and they had learned a little about the sect, including the various resource-producing areas, spirit stone veins and so on. He even went to the sect's treasury under Yi Yusong's leadership to select a suitable law treasure for him. Usually, the head elders came to eat and were quite generous, so Zhu Fan had a rough idea of the wealth of Yanshan. All in for the whole sect. The previous sect leader was really a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's really reckless. How could most people dare to do that? Moreover, it is definitely not something that one person can handle if the entire sect is put under pressure, so the other elders of the current generation are probably in agreement. It really proved what Yi Yusong said, from the head of the sect to the outer sect, they are all a bunch of reckless men. At this time, Yi Yusong talked about the deeds of the previous generation of the sect leader, his face full of admiration. Although he was reckless, what he did was really awesome, and he brought the entire sect to the top position. It's nothing like the one now. Every time he goes out, he always causes trouble and makes the sect have to clean up his mess. Jai quietly looked away, pretending not to notice Yi Yusong's disdainful look. The Medicine King Palace has been dancing so happily recently. I guess they want to challenge us at Yanshan. An elder gritted his teeth and said, in recent years, the situation of our Yanshan has not been very good, which makes them feel that they are good enough. That's perfect. Jìyú grinned. Let's settle old and new accounts together. I can't wait to see what resources they will come up with. Don't be happy too soon. There is one thing I don't understand. Yusong asked these people to be quiet, then stroked his chin and said in a deep voice. Most of the people in Medicine King Hall are alchemists. Although they are at a high level, they rarely fight with others. How dare they challenge? As soon as these words were spoken, everyone in Yanshan also reacted. Yes, a bunch of alchemists, how dare they do that? Those who know what combat power is will understand. If it weren't for the physical trainer helping the boss to gain points, that group of people probably wouldn't even know which direction the door of the Caochang Hall faces. When something is abnormal, there must be something wrong. The Medicine King Palace must have prepared some backup plan. As for what backup plan they have prepared, I don't know. Even if Yi Jia has reached a cooperative relationship with others, they will definitely not tell you the confidential information. Jìyú thought for a long time, and then decided. Don't want to think about it anymore. Anyway, if the enemy comes, we will fight him with our soldiers, if the water comes, we will block it with earth. No matter whether he wants to challenge or do something, the goal is to fight. Then just fight and it's all over. Jìyú's ideas were highly recognized by the elders. Except Yusong. Zhu Fan watched as the deputy head's mouth twitched, then he held it back. Then the elders discussed some other things, including giving the disciples more training and lessons in the near future. No matter what Medicine King Hall is going to do this time, we can't always be the last in the Immortal Gate competition like we did in the past. When everyone had finished discussing, they went back to make arrangements, while Yusong looked at Zhu Fan, as if he had something to say to him. Zhu Fan, although the delicacies you make are more effective than medicinal pills of the same grade, some foods are not so convenient to use. There was nothing wrong with what Yusong said. After all, as for pills, one could just put one in his mouth during a fight. But as for spiritual food, one couldn't just start slurping noodles while fighting, right? When you are fighting, will your opponent let you eat noodles, roast chicken and rice in front of him? But some of the foods you made before, such as meatballs and fried squid strips, are small pieces of food that are quite convenient to eat. Can you make more delicious foods that are easy to carry? This way, the disciples can eat it quickly when they need to heal their wounds or have other needs. In addition, Yusong looked at Zhu Fan and smiled. If you wish, let the name of the spiritual chef become famous throughout the world at the Immortal Gate competition. Chapter 94. Oh, yeah. What Yusong said really moved Zhu Fan. The reputation tasks issued by the system are long-term tasks, and the rewards given are very considerable. If the abilities of a spiritual chef could be fully displayed at such an event, wouldn't it be a lucrative deal? Zhu Fan returned to his residence and immediately began to select a suitable recipe. First of all, if you want to make eating convenient, you naturally have to choose smaller food. Zhu Fan's eyes moved to the snacks. He didn't know the specific situation of the Immortal Gate competition, so it would be better to have some of the various attributes and effects. Beep. Get the recipe. Multifunctional lollipop. Effects. Depending on the ingredients, it can have effects such as avoiding poison, breaking obstacles, and sobering up. Beep. Get the recipe. Hawthorn cake. Effect. Dissipate blood stasis and heal injuries. Beep. Get the recipe. Pancake fruit. Effects. Restore spiritual power, replenish physical strength, and randomly increase buffs. Beep. Get the recipe. Spicy noodles. Effect. Increases attack power for 1 hour, can be stacked with other buffs. Beep. Get the recipe. Crispy puffs. Effect. Increases defense for 1 hour, can be stacked with other buffs. Beep. Get the recipe. Flying fish roll lucky bag. Effect. Randomly increase 1 to 3 minor levels, once a day, effective for 15 minutes. This time Zhu Fan made a big purchase and replaced some recipes for various functions. The number of people needed to participate in the Immortal Gate competition should be quite large, so Zhu Fan prepared to find more helpers. Shen Ang and his companions were currently training hard in preparation for the competition, so it would not be appropriate to ask them to help. Therefore, Zhu Fan went to find the elders of Danju Peak to see if there were any disciples who could come and help. When Zhu Fan went there, the elders were mobilizing other alchemists. Although the alchemists could not go up to fight, they must not lose to others in logistics. Brother Zhu is here. Several alchemy disciples were carrying a few baskets. When they saw Zhu Fan coming, they greeted him. Brother Zhu, we are just about to test the power of explosive bomb, impact type number 02, and incendiary bomb, continuous type number 11 feet. Do you want to come and see? Zhu Fan looked at the baskets filled with black, nuclear flat round bombs, and smiled politely but at a distance. I'm sorry, senior brother. I have other things to do. I'll take care of it next time. I'll take care of it next time. So several disciples carried the baskets and walked away, saying something like, we didn't use the maximum firepower before because of our fellow disciples, friendship. This time, we'll use the maximum amount of gunpowder. Let's blow those thieves away. Zhu Fan, ****, brothers, have you blown up all the roads to Gongwu Peak, or are you still holding back? This was not apparent before, unless they fought, but the alchemists of Yanshan were also very reckless and violent at heart. When the elder saw Zhu Fan coming, he also discussed logistical issues with Zhu Fan. Zhu Fan told the elders what he was going to do. So the elders arranged for helpers for Zhu Fan, and at the same time arranged for disciples to refine some other elixirs with different effects from Zhu Fan's, such as external hemostatic powder, demon-repelling mist powder, etc. Anyway, by then the disciples will have delicious food to eat and elixirs to replenish their body. This two-pronged approach will ensure that the disciples will not have any worries. After discussing with the elders, Zhu Fan returned to the summit with his men. Several alchemy disciples who were sent to help Zhu Fan laughed so happily that their mouths were almost crooked. Everyone knows that junior brother Zhu Fan is the most generous to the kitchen helpers. Haven't you seen that Shen Ang and the others have become bigger in appearance recently? Fortunately, our senior brother brought junior brother Zhu to our place, and now this good thing has finally come to us. Then Zhu Fan took out a variety of ingredients and assigned tasks to everyone. Disciple number 1 was responsible for washing the mint, fairy pear, Lingshan hawthorn and other raw materials. Disciple number 2 was responsible for removing the cores and stems of the fairy pear and hawthorn. Disciple number 3 was responsible for stirring the dough and butter. Disciple number 4 was responsible for grinding the seasoning into powder. Several people had clear division of labor and started working in an orderly manner. Although the quantity produced this time is large, the actual cooking method is not complicated. For example, to make this hawthorn cake, put the pitted hawthorns into boiling water and boil them. After they are cooked, take them out and add a small amount of hawthorn juice, and squeeze them together into a fine hawthorn paste. Then put it in the pot and simmer it over low heat, stirring constantly to prevent it from sticking to the bottom of the pot. In addition, adding a little lemon juice will make its color more bright red. After stirring for a while, add white sugar, and its color will change from light pink to dark red, and it will also become more viscous. When it becomes semi-solid after being scooped up, you can scoop it out and put it into the mold. The next step is to wait for it to cool down slowly, then put it in the refrigerator for one night, then take it out and cut it into bite-sized pieces. The refrigerator, used by Zhu Fan, was an ice room made by the elders who drew a frost array in the room. The space was so large that one could stuff things into it without worrying about not having enough space. Yi Yusong's clone is a thinking individual, while Zhu Fan's clone is more like a program. After the command process is entered into the program will start working. Zhu Fan called out various clones and set instruction programs for each of them. One was heating, the other was stirring. The kitchen was bustling with activity. While Zhu Fan was busy, Yi Yusong and others were not idle either. Outside the fantasy world, Yi Yusong looked at the many disciples and began to announce the recent events. Yi Yusong, Zhu Fan is preparing delicious food for the disciples participating in the Immortal Gate competition. When the time comes, everyone who participates in the Immortal Gate competition will have a share. Disciples. Oh, Su ya. Yi Yusong. It's just that because there are too many, it takes a long time to prepare, so the lunch battle during this period can only be temporarily cancelled. Disciples. Oh. Yi Yusong. But by then, we will not only give everyone one kind of food, but 5 or 6 kinds. Disciples. Oh, asterisk, su ya ya ya. Yi song. But not everyone can participate in the Immortal Gate competition. Disciples. Oh. Yi song. However, if the participants can achieve good results in the Immortal Gate competition, the whole sect will celebrate and give all disciples delicious food. Disciples. Oh, asterisk, su ya ya ya. Yi song smiled. So everyone is confident that they can get good grades. The disciples fell silent for a moment. After all, the failures over the years still had some shadows on them. Seeing this, Yi song used his ultimate weapon. The disciples participating in the competition will be given different rewards according to their rankings. The highest reward is the 6th grade law weapon, and you can eat as much as you want at Kushongtang for 10 days, and all your expenses will be paid by the sect. Even if your ranking is a little low, as long as you perform well enough, you can still get 3 to 5 days of unlimited dining. Disciples. As for the candidates for the Immortal Gate competition, Yi song pointed to the illusion next to him with a smile. I have set the illusion to the secret realm of the previous competition. Everyone can form a team to participate. I will select the best performers to participate in the competition and win the right to eat all you can. Disciples. Ah. Yi song. Plan pass square root. Chapter 95 History repeats itself. Sister, how did you lose the last competition? In order to understand the situation of the Immortal Gate competition, Shenang asked questions to his sister who participated in the last Immortal Gate competition. Shenang joined the sect 3 years ago, so naturally he had never participated. Just this question of his directly pierced the hearts of several of his disciples, and Ruan Man clenched her fists at that time. It's all because of that shameless Zifei Zong. Zheng Liang cursed angrily. The rules of the last competition were a flag-pulling competition, and the points ranking was determined based on the number of flags found by the sect. At that time, we were all looking for the flag, but those bastards from the Purple Jade sect didn't look for the flag but only wanted to steal our people. How could we tolerate them? Of course not. Then we fought, and of course, we won. Shenang was puzzled. If you won, how come you are still at the bottom? Several people immediately looked embarrassed. This is not a fight too much, and then, I didn't notice that there were still a few guys from the Purple Fae sect who didn't join the fight, and ran to steal the flag. Shenang. Okay. The rules in this illusion are modeled after the flag-pulling rules of the last competition. Each team consists of 10 people. We can go find Zhao Teng and his team to form a team. In addition, several people began to look for teammates and customize tactics. Not only them, but other disciples also worked hard for the 10-day all-you-can-eat privilege, finding teammates, deciding on tactics, and various ways to strengthen themselves. When everything was almost settled and the illusion was about to open, a group of people rushed in, screaming. When he opened his eyes again, it was no longer the familiar chaotic battlefield, but a lush forest. Come on, use the anonymous talisman to hide first. After you find the flag, don't make a move yet. If someone comes, we'll ambush them. Ruan Man instructed her teammates to stick talismans on the ground and release the spirit-detecting paper cranes, and they just crouched and followed quietly. After finding the nearest flag through the spirit-detecting paper crane, the few people did not rush over immediately, but went around to the side and hid in the grass. As the saying goes, the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. There will definitely be a scramble around the flag in a while, and they will have to be the hunters behind the oriole. The few of them even quieted down their breathing and waited silently. Waiting. After squatting for half an hour, the legs of several people became numb. Why do I feel something is wrong? Zheng Liang communicated with his teammates using secret voice transmission. It's a bit strange. Considering the size of this secret realm, someone should have arrived by now. Wei Hengwen rested his chin on his hand and thought. Ruan Man thought about it, then sent a secret message to Zheng Liang. Second brother, use your magic to create a fake body and go to the flag. Zheng Liang nodded and started to make some hand gestures. Soon, a fake body walked towards the flag. When the fake body was about to touch the flag, several spells suddenly appeared above its head and hit the fake body directly. Judging from the number, there are at least 40 or 50. Sure enough, the moment the spell appeared, the 6 or 7 teams hiding nearby were exposed. Damn, how long have you old silver coins been squatting here? Same here, aren't you squatting here too? I don't know how this large group of people hid there. But these guys must have the same idea as Ruan Man and the others. I'll hide here first, and I'll ambush whoever comes to take the flag. As a result, everyone squatted for a long time without finding anyone, and they all became a little impatient. Seeing Zheng Liang coming, I couldn't help but take action. Unexpectedly, when I made a move, so many old people were squatting beside me. So the teams started fighting each other. Ruan Man and others who were squatting on the side had dark lines on their faces. I was wondering why I waited for half an hour and no one showed up. They're all squatting around here. Insidious, these guys are so insidious. Several people denounced the shameless behavior of others in their hearts, without thinking that they were also one of the grass dogs. Just when a few people were planning to stay there for a while until the fight was over, the light of a formation suddenly lit up under their feet. Their faces changed and they were about to fly away. As a result, he suddenly heard a rhythm of music and his body froze. He was unable to fly up immediately and was entangled by the formation. When I looked up, I saw that the sound repairers and formation repairers had secretly joined forces. It must be that when they were performing the magic spell just now, some spiritual power fluctuations were emitted, which exposed their position. Brother Wei, Brother Zhao. The disciples of Yin Shu and Zhen Shu were all smiling, and even had time to greet them. I'm sorry, you guys are the strongest on paper, so I can only ask you to leave first. These people are not those weak outer disciples from the past. They are much more capable than them. Soul imprisoning formation, blood killing formation, soul shaking roar, several spells were cast at the same time, and Ruan Man and the others were fixed in place, just like they were hit by several big moves during a team fight. If you could see the health bars, you would probably see that several people's health bars have collapsed. Fortunately, several people were not killed instantly, and the nurse was still there. Zheng Liang clasped his hands together, and the pure wood spiritual power even affected the surrounding plants, causing them to grow wildly. A strong green light emerged from everyone, alleviating their injuries and pain, and bringing a glimmer of opportunity to several people. The physical cultivator Zhao Teng's clothes immediately began to explode. Not only did his muscles bulge out, but a layer of golden phantom also covered his body. Then, ignoring the enemy's attacks, he rushed forward directly under the magic. Upon seeing this, Shenang and Zhang Rui also rushed over, with their blades covered with blood-red blade intent, and slashed from a distance. With meat shields and warriors holding the front, Ruan Man and Wei Hengwen did not just stand there, but used various spells from the back to attack. The formation cultivators and the sound cultivators were not panicking. They did not expect to be able to defeat the other side. After all, they still had some confidence in the abilities of their fellow disciples. The array plate emitted a dazzling light, and continued to use the array to confine the opponent to facilitate the teammates' attack. At the same time, he also released a number of defensive formations around himself to protect himself from being easily approached. The two sides fought hard for a while. Although Ruan Man and his companions seemed stronger than the opponents, they were ambushed in a formation at the beginning, so it was difficult for them to get rid of it easily. So the situation came to a stalemate, wondering whether Ruan Man and the others could get rid of the formation first and destroy the other party, or whether the formation cultivators and sound cultivators could rely on their first mover advantage to outlast the other party. The formation cultivator felt that even if Zheng Liang was always treating them, the continuous high-level spells consumed a lot of spiritual energy. Once Zheng Liang's spiritual energy was used up, that would be their victory. The sound repair array repair increased its firepower, and then Zheng Liang suddenly shouted from the opposite side, "Wait a minute, stop fighting." The sound cultivator didn't listen and continued to increase his firepower. "Stop, it's impossible. Who knows if the guy on the opposite side is plotting against them." Then they heard Zheng Liang shouting with his spiritual power, trying to make sure that the 3 or 4 teams fighting not far away could also hear him. "Stop. The flag is gone. Everyone." Hearing this, everyone looked towards the flag. "Hey, guess what? The ground over there was empty and I had no idea where the flag had gone." Everyone. W opening parenthesis D W Wong Defa. Everyone looked at each other in bewilderment, and the fighting stopped for a brief moment. Outside the illusion, Yusong, who was eating while observing the battle situation, crushed a plate with an expressionless face. This was what happened during the last Immortal Gate competition. The disciples were so engrossed in the fight that they didn't care about the flag at all. At this moment, history repeats itself. It seems that we need to find a way to cure the disciples' habit of getting angry when fighting. Yusong stroked his chin, his eyes falling on the snacks that Zhu Fan brought out. Chapter 96. Oops, I accidentally slipped. The disciples stopped and dispersed. After all, they gathered here for the flag. Now the flag has been stolen by some guy. What's the point of them staying here? What should I do if I have no more spiritual power after the fight and someone else picks up my peaches? After all, there are more than just a few teams in the secret realm, and there are so many people grabbing flags in other places. What if we continue fighting and attract other people? So the teams had to disperse. Ruan Man and others prepared to find a secluded place to recover their physical and spiritual strength. The other disciples who had just finished fighting were in a similar situation and found a place to recover. At this moment, Yusong's voice suddenly came from the air in the illusion. Just now, Zhu Fan tried to make some new food that can replenish spiritual power and add random buff effects. You can try it and get used to these special effects in advance. As Yusong finished speaking, several boxes suddenly appeared in the hands of each team leader. When they opened them, they saw the new type of food that had been cut into pieces. Although the disciples didn't know what Zhanbingguozi was, it didn't stop them from eating it. Everyone took out their own portion from the box and devoured it in one gulp. The egg skin and sesame seeds on the outside are slightly burnt, but the aroma is very obvious. The soft dough is stacked layer by layer, and when you bite it, the salty sauce between the dough will come out. The layers of dough are like a box of treasures, with all kinds of treasures hidden inside: chewy sausages, fluffy fried dough sticks, refreshing vegetables. The different flavors of various ingredients bring people a variety of different experiences. Zhu Fan guessed that the random buff mentioned in the recipe was affected by a variety of ingredients, so he tried a variety of ingredient combinations, some with soft tenderloin, some with stringy chicken fillets, and some with crispy crisps. The soft pancake wraps up these different ingredients, allowing them to blend together and bring a variety of happiness. A box of pancakes was not large in size and was quickly shared out by the disciples. Afterwards they did feel something different from usual. Some felt that their movements seemed lighter, some felt that they had more strength, and some felt that their bodies seemed to be a little tougher. Because the buffs were written as random, Zhu Fan didn't know what they were, so he took some and asked Yusong to try. At this moment, the disciples were feeling the various buffs and were filled with joy. There are these effects. I wish you a great success, shock. Several disciples also praised Yusong, and the deputy leader even specially sent some delicious food to us in the illusion. It seems that the deputy leader still behaves like a human being sometimes. As a result, a few seconds after the praise, Yusong's voice came from the illusion again. Oops, I just slipped and put Zhu Fan's freshly made spicy noodles into the illusion as a flag. It doesn't matter. The rules remain the same. Just treat it as capturing the flag as before. Just don't forget to pay more attention this time, otherwise if it's snatched away and eaten, you won't be able to get it back. _. Disciples. Deputy leader, don't think we don't know what you mean. Do you think we will be obedient? Of course. I don't know what spicy strips are, but they sound delicious. The disciples who had just recovered their spiritual power were ready to set out to look for the flag, oh no, to look for spicy strips. This time, the disciples' seriousness was completely different. After all, if a flag is lost, you can still find it, but if the spicy strips are taken away and eaten by someone, how can you find them? So everyone acted more cautiously. Some teams reviewed their mistakes with their teammates while looking for them, striving to avoid making the same mistakes again next time. Some teams felt that the ambush they had just set was not good enough, and planned to hide more covertly this time. Some teams have come up with new ideas and are discussing the feasibility of the new tactics with their teammates. Looking at the illusion, Yusong nodded with satisfaction. Yes, this time the disciples were more serious. Yusong was very pleased as he was eating spicy strips. Zhu Fan, who witnessed the whole process, said, As long as you are happy, Deputy Sect Leader. Just as Yi Yusong had hoped, the disciples' seriousness and caution this time were indeed on a higher level than before. The various new tactics thought out by several people also achieved good results. Seeing this, Yi Yusong nodded repeatedly and prepared to make a tactical record so that the disciples would have a variety of tactics to choose from in the Immortal Gate competition. Inspired by spicy snacks, the students played brilliantly in the second flag-grabbing competition, which impressed Zhu Fan greatly. Among the more than 100 teams in the battlefield of 1,000 people, only 5 teams successfully grabbed the spicy strips. Ruan Man's team became one of the lucky ones by relying on their strength and combat stealing skills, attacking. Looking at the spicy strips that were like priceless treasures, Ruan Man and the others were moved to tears. The spicy strips are made by Zhu Fan using beef tendon noodles. Compared with the small spicy strips you buy, they are bigger, softer and fuller, and absorb more flavor. The homemade spicy noodles are made by mixing salt, sugar, pepper powder, cumin powder, chili, garlic and sesame seeds together to make dry ingredients. The ingredients are then poured over with hot scallion and ginger oil that has been sautéed until fragrant. This way the dry ingredients won't get burnt and can still give off a strong aroma. Mix the seasoned ingredients into the beef tendon noodles so that each gluten can fully absorb all the flavors. The white beef tendon noodles turned an entire orange-red color, and the shiny, reflective surface was dotted with white sesame seeds, like broken clouds in the sunset, all dyed with a warm color. Several people carefully picked up one and put it in their mouths, savoring this hard-earned happiness. The spicy taste is like a conspicuous bag, no one can ignore its existence. The spicy taste began to dance in the mouth. Not only was the spiciness spreading, but the aroma was also going straight up through the mouth. After being squeezed, the gluten releases all the flavors wrapped inside, and the chili oil continues to emit its aroma. As the gluten bounces, the flavor of a mixture of spices also bounces in the mouth. There is no corner in the mouth that can escape the rich fragrance and spiciness. Ruan Man and the others could never have imagined that this seemingly small spicy strip could be full of so many flavors. They couldn't stop chewing the chewy gluten in their mouths. After a while, the spicy strips were eaten up by several people, and they were licking their fingers reluctantly to savor the remaining taste. Just as they were licking their fingers and scraping the plates reluctantly, Yi Yusong's voice came from above the illusion. Everyone, take a break. In another quarter of an hour, the new flag will be put in. Oops, I accidentally mixed up the flag and the puff this time. Everyone, remember to be careful not to break the puff. Everyone. Oh, Deputy Sect Leader, please behave yourself. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 97. Why aren't you laughing? Don't you like the food Zhu Fan makes? The second day. A guest came to Yanshan, and it was the elder of Yuanliu sect who led the team into Secret Realm earlier. Yi Yusong and his companions politely brought the person to the reception room and started chatting. Just as Yi Yusong had thought before, the elder of Yuanliu Gate came to inform him that the Immortal Gate competition would be held earlier. The venue and hosting of the Immortal Gate competition are managed by the 6 major sects in turn. This time it is Yuanliu sect's turn, so it is normal for their elders to be in charge of the notification. Yi Yusong pretended to be puzzled. The Immortal Gate competition is usually held every 10 years, why is it suddenly brought forward this time? It was proposed by the Zifei sect. The elders of Yuanliu sect had no intention of covering up for the Zifei sect. Ever since the last incident, the Yuanliu sect's favorability towards the Zifei sect had been declining all the way to the freezing point. The reason they gave was because of the seal next year. The elder of Yuanliu sect explained it and gave Yi Yusong a look that said you understand. Yi Yusong nodded in understanding. Neither the Sword Palace nor the Daozan Gorge have any objections. They are eager to fight immediately. The elder of Yuanliu sect was drinking tea while gossiping. Didn't the 2 disciples from the 2 sects fight over Fairy Lanwei a while ago? As a result, the fight got out of hand. Fairy Lanwei never expected that she would cause a fight between the 2 major sects just by passing by. Obviously, the person she loves is my little disciple. Oops, let's get off topic, let's continue talking about the competition. Everyone at Yanshan, you just finished what you were saying. How can you stop talking about gossip halfway? And aren't all your disciples female? That sentence of yours contains so much information. Unfortunately, the Yuanliu Gate Elder did not finish the gossip as everyone wished, and continued to talk about the Immortal Gate competition. As Yi Yusong listened, he keenly felt that the attitude of the Yuanliu sect elder this time was different from the last time they met. It seemed a little friendlier. What he thought was not wrong. The elders of Yuanliu sect now had a much better impression of Yanshan. They had no previous interactions with Yanshan, so naturally there was no friendship between them. But ever since Yi Yusong took those treasures to Yuanliu sect last time, everyone in Yuanliu sect felt that Yanshan was quite good. When paying to enter the secret realm, Yi Yusong also explained everything he wanted to say, including some precautions in the secret realm, setting a trap for the Zifei sect which helped the disciples to make significant improvements in the secret realm. He is generous and straightforward, who wouldn't like such a person? Compared with those wretched guys in Zifei sect, the elders of Yuanliu sect admire Yanshan much more. Can't you see that they are a lot more relaxed this time and are even talking about gossip? By the way, the Medicine King Palace had previously proposed to sponsor us with some spirit stones to prepare for the competition. Hearing what the Yuanliu sect elder said, everyone in Yanshan frowned. Before they could say anything, the Yuanliu sect elder spoke again. Of course, we said no. My Yuanliu sect is not short of this little money. After all, as one of the 6 major sects, we have strength in all aspects. I believe the same is true for Yanshan. The Yuanliu sect elder nodded slightly, and Yi Yusong already understood what he and Yuanliu sect meant. The attitude of Yuanliu sect is that the previous friction between Yu Yanshan and Yaowang Palace is a matter between the two of you and it is not appropriate for others to interfere. But if the Medicine King Palace thinks that it can interfere in the affairs of the 6 major sects by paying some money, then I'm sorry, you are not worthy. One can only sit in the position of one of the 6 major sects by relying on strength. If you, the Medicine King Palace, want to take the top position, whether you want to challenge or do anything else, you have to follow the rules. The reason why the Purple Fae sect suggested holding the Immortal Gate competition in advance is because they have a good relationship with the Medicine King Palace, which is beneficial to them. Because Yanshan just had a fight with a monster, from an outsider's perspective he must be exhausted now, and a lot of pills and other things were probably consumed in the fight with the monster. Outsiders, speculation. Little did they know that the wolf monster king was almost fed like a dog, chewing on a bone every day. The Medicine King Palace was worried that if Yanshan was allowed to recuperate for a while, these reckless men might rush straight to the Medicine King Palace because of the Huanghe incident, and it would be difficult for others, the Zifei sect, to intervene. Therefore, while Yanshan is in poor condition now, the Immortal Gate competition should be moved forward. Even if Yanshan's men and horses are tired, they must prepare for the Immortal Gate competition and will have no time to look for the matter of Medicine King Palace. If after the Immortal Gate competition, Medicine King Palace can successfully replace Yanshan and become one of the 6 major sects, then Yanshan will have no chance at all. The Zifei sect and the Yaowang Palace felt that they had a great chance of winning, so they organized the competition in advance. The other sects probably also knew what Zifei sect meant, but the reasons put forward by Zifei sect were quite legitimate. The 6 major sects could not ignore the matter of the seal, so it was difficult for them to refuse. However, the major sects felt uncomfortable if they listened to them directly, so after discussion, they decided to let Yanshan rest for a month before participating in the competition. The elders of Yuanliu sect implicitly stated the attitudes of several sects on this matter. Jìyú and several elders did not understand, but Yi Yusong did. The smile on his face became even more enthusiastic, and he discussed other matters with the elders of Yuanliu sect. After seeing off the elders of Yuanliu sect, Yi Yusong thought about the next preparations. Previously, I thought that I didn't have much time to prepare, so I was a little anxious to arrange things. Now it seems that there is still plenty of time, so Yi Yusong can prepare more methods for his disciples. It was almost noon and the sun was still shining warmly, but several disciples shivered inexplicably, feeling as if they had a bad premonition. As a result, when we arrived at the illusion, everyone knew what this premonition was about. Yi Yusong smiled and said, "Wouldn't it be boring for you guys to keep practicing flag-pulling competitions? From now on, we will practice the various competition rules of previous competitions every day. Here, Everyone will have a copy of the 10 Years of Secret Realm Centennial Competition, and the Secret Realm Knowledge Encyclopedia. Everyone should practice more. Disciples. Angle. Yi Yusong was very satisfied to see his disciples reciting 10 Years of Secret Realm Centennial Competition, with miserable faces, and then began to arrange a new map in the illusion. As he laid out the new map, he said, "How about we try the treasure hunt mode from the competition 20 years ago? There are many treasure chests placed all over the map, waiting for everyone to find them. I put the hawthorn cake made by Zhu Fan into the treasure chest. I just took it out this morning. It is sour and sweet, melts in your mouth, and tastes great." Disciples. Yi Yusong. Oh carrot, why aren't you smiling? Don't you like the food Zhu Fan makes? Disciples. Woo, go for it. Kanai Takamatsu. Be carrot. Chapter 98. If you buy it, then you have the advantage. Good news. The hawthorn cake made by my junior brother is really delicious. Bad news. The deputy leader felt that the treasure chest was not buried secretly enough, so he found another place to hide it. Ruan Man and a few others were squatting on the ground, surrounded by deep pits of varying sizes. These were all holes they dug to find treasure chests. In order to increase the difficulty, Yi Yusong hardened the soil in the secret realm several times. The people were so tired digging the pits, and they also had to guard against sneak attacks from other disciples from time to time. At this moment they were so tired that they sat on the ground, eating hawthorn cakes to heal their tired bodies and spirits. The hawthorn cake has been cut into small, palatable pieces, its bright red color looks festive and attractive. The treasure chest box where Yi Yusong placed the treasure had been refrigerated by Zhu Fan before and had a heat preservation function. When he took it out now, it still felt a little cool, washing away the heat and fatigue after labor. The smooth and delicate hawthorn cake is held in the mouth, and people can feel the sweet taste that melts in the mouth. The appropriate sugar content makes it not as sour as it was at the beginning, and presents a very harmonious appearance. The sweet and sour smell prompts the crazy secretion of saliva in the mouth, making people unable to stop eating it one mouthful after another, just wanting to let everything melt in the mouth and into the heart. Such a few small pieces of hawthorn cake were not enough to eat at all. Several people felt that the taste was gone after they tasted it, and they licked their lips feeling that they were still not satisfied. Then, Yi Yusong's familiar voice sounded again in the illusion. I heard from Zhu Fan that hawthorn cake can stimulate appetite. You must be hungry, right? Go find the treasure chest. I put some freshly baked buns in it, carrot. Disciples. Gululu. Hearing the deafening sound coming from their stomachs, the disciples started searching again with happiness written all over their faces. As evening approached, the disciples dragged their exhausted bodies out of the illusion. I guess their dreams tonight will be full of treasure chests. Ruan Man and the others were about to say goodbye when a little head popped up beside them. Lin Chin greeted them quietly. Sister, do you want armor? Just ask and I'll get it for you right away. When Ruan Man heard this, she thought that Lin Chin had other armor to sell. After all, the previous set of armor was the secret weapon of Lin Chin and the artifact refining divisions, so it would not be sold so easily. However, they still trusted Lin Chin's forging skills, so they naturally responded with a smile. Okay, I wonder what new law weapons junior sister Lin Chin has forged. Senior sister, follow me, I have everything. Lin Chin led a few people to fly towards the direction of Artifact Peak. Not long after they flew away, another disciple from Artifact Peak stopped the other group of people. Brother, do you want armor? Forged Artifact Peak. Ruan Man and several teammates were stunned when they saw the rows and rows of red armor. Junior sister, are you selling these too? Several people stared with eyes wide open in disbelief. After all, this is the law treasure that artifact refining engineers use to make a living, how can it be sold so easily? Lin Chin said seriously, brothers and sisters, you are fighting for the honor of the sect. We artifact refining division cannot fight alongside you on the front lines, so let these law weapons help you win. You must achieve good results, then the whole sect will give you delicious food. The whole sect has a sense of honor. Several people. Junior sister, it seems that your thoughts and conversations just now were reversed. But that doesn't matter. The important thing is that junior sister gave them such powerful armor. Ruan Man immediately made a generous decision. No problem, junior sister, I want all of your spirit stones. The aura of Ruan Man's wealth immediately dazzled everyone's eyes. But Lin Qin smiled embarrassedly and said, sorry, senior sister, this doesn't require a spirit stone. No spirit stone. Then this. Several people were puzzled. Then Lin Qin said, I hope I can exchange it with junior brother Zhu Fan's delicious food. Sisters, if you can achieve good results, you will have 10 days of unlimited eating privileges. Junior sister Jun for 1 day, isn't that too much? After all, we spent a lot of effort to create this. Although it can't be used by sword and knife cultivators, it is still very suitable for magic cultivators like senior sister. It can greatly increase defense and safety. Upon hearing this condition, Ruan Man and the others were stunned. Ah! In exchange for delicious food. That's too expensive. The delicious food made by junior brother Zhu Fan is priceless. How can it be changed like this? Several people wanted to refuse, but Lin Qin said, senior sister, other brothers who forged Artifact Peak have already gone to trade with other teams. We have a limited number of armors. If they buy them and you don't have any. Several people. Good food is valuable, but eating all you can is even more expensive. If someone else bought it and took away their all-you-can-eat rights, wouldn't they be at a huge loss? After thinking for a while, Ruan Man asked again, then junior sister, what if we don't get the right to eat all you can? How do we trade this armor? Lin Qin smiled. There are 2 choices. First, senior sister can return the armor to me without charging any fees. Just consider it as my support for my fellow disciples. Second, you can exchange it for 10 of junior brother Zhu's delicacies. Compared to the all-you-can-eat privilege, this is a huge discount. You, the senior sisters, won't lose out anyway. After a few people discussed it, they felt that it might be feasible. If they don't buy it and someone else does, that's their advantage. They bought what others didn't, and that's their advantage. So, Ruan Man and the others gritted their teeth and said, okay, we'll make this deal. Lin Qin, no thank you for your patronage. After seeing off Ruan Man and his team, voices of conversation could be heard from the room of a certain artifact refining disciple nearby. Brother, don't think that 1 day's all-you-can-eat privilege is too expensive. You should know that Sister Ruan Man and the others have already bought it. If you don't buy it, the all-you-can-eat privilege will be taken away by them, and you won't have even a day left. If you buy it, then you have the advantage. Quote. Okay, thank you for your patronage. For all. Several waves of people appeared and left, and several Artifact Peak disciples sold countless armors. That night, the Artifact Peak disciples gathered together to inform everyone of today's trading records. I sold this to senior brother Wang and his group, 6 copies. I gave 5 copies to senior sister Shu and the others. After recording everyone's information, Lin Qin collected the jade slip with satisfaction. Very good, brothers, thank you for your hard work. Although we don't know which team will win, as long as we cast our nets one by one, we will definitely catch something. The Artifact Peak disciples all smiled happily as they imagined the delicious food they would get later. However, an Artifact Peak disciple still spoke with some hesitation. Junior sister Lin, I'm a little worried. If we sell the armor to someone else, then after the Immortal Gate competition, won't we still have to go through the illusion? Then we will. As soon as these words came out, the artifact refining teachers and students also showed some worried expressions. Indeed, this armor is their only means of grabbing food. If other disciples have armor, how can they grab food in the future? By then, we will have new armor, brother. Lin Qin smiled and said, in fact, you all discovered this when you used the armor last time, right? Although our armor has good defensive power, its offensive power is still far behind. If the alchemist and his men hadn't blown up the other disciples last time, it wouldn't have been so easy for us to win. The armor's joints are not sensitive enough at the moment, and the turning speed after sprinting also needs to be adjusted. Moreover, even if we use this armor, we still cannot defeat those martial artists in a head-on confrontation. First, we are not good at actual combat, and second, we will be helpless after the armor uses up our spiritual energy. Lin Qin pointed out several shortcomings of the armor, causing all the artifact refining divisions to start thinking. Then Lin Qin proposed her new idea. The reason why I suggest you trade your armor is, on the one hand, because the Immortal Gate competition has put the illusion war on hold. During this period, the armor will just gather dust in our hands, so we might as well give it to our senior brothers and sisters. Secondly, even if I keep Iron Shrimp number 1, it will be hard to get delicious food. It's better to trade it for a few stable meals. This will not only improve the strength of our fellow disciples, allowing the sect to achieve good results in the Immortal Gate competition, but also ensure that we will be able to eat delicious food. Then, we must work hard to create a number 2 law weapon that surpasses Iron Shrimp no 1 foot and improve our combat capabilities, so that we can have a place in the fantasy battle after the competition ends. After listening to Lin Qin's words, all the artifact refining masters finally understood the good intentions of their junior sister. They were deeply moved and excited at the same time. They rushed to the artifact refining room, determined to let Iron Shrimp number 2 surpass it. The next day, in the illusion, Ruan Man and his team, as well as several teams of disciples, looked at each other's red armor and fell into silence. Damn, how many armors did the artifact refining master sell? Everyone is wearing armor, so what are the differences and advantages? Chapter 99. You are indeed the deputy leader. I still have a lot to learn. A month passed slowly, and the disciples were about to go to Yuanliu Gate to participate in the Immortal Gate competition. The disciples who were released from the illusion were so moved that their eyes filled with tears and they were speechless. It's finally over. 1 month. Do you know how we spent this month? Not only did the deputy leader make us practice every competition rule of the 10 years of Secret Realm Centennial competition, but occasionally he would come up with sudden ideas to create difficulties for us. Later, after the deputy headmaster had tried all the rules, the disciples thought they could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Unexpectedly, the deputy headmaster made an extremely vicious decision. In the subsequent fantasy game, he actually put the French fries and ketchup in 2 different places. God knows how Ruan Man and his friends felt when they opened the treasure chest and saw only a box of ketchup after they had worked so hard to defeat other competitors. UDU backquote. In addition, separate the white noodles from the marinade, separate the spring rolls from the side dishes. The main theme is to break up a couple and break up their relationship. What a dark heart one must have to come up with such a vicious method. Fortunately, I finally managed to finish the training and can participate in the Immortal Gate competition. The disciples who were chosen and those who were not all cried with joy, celebrating that they no longer had to face various difficult challenges assigned to them by the deputy headmaster. The Immortal Gate competition requires 20 participants, but substitute members must also be prepared. When participating in the competition, the major sects will not only bring participants, but also bring some disciples to broaden their horizons and add to the appearance. In the end, Yusong decided to take 100 people with him, including 90 disciples and 10 elders. A certain leader accidentally damaged a building due to excessive excitement yesterday and is currently moving bricks to repair it. Before leaving, Yusong stood and gave everyone a pre-war mobilization. Yusong, does everyone know the purpose of this trip? For the right to eat all you can for 10 days. A quick-talking disciple answered subconsciously. Kanae Takamatsu. The person next to him slapped the disciple on the back of his head and said, "What nonsense are you talking about?" Yusong. It's okay, I'm used to its smiley face. Fortunately, the others were not such fools. Zhang Rui raised his arms and shouted. In order to achieve good results. Overthrow the Purple Jade Sect. Overthrow the Medicine King Palace. When the other disciples heard this, they also shouted, destroy the Zifei sect. Destroy the Yao Wang Palace. Apart from delicious food, the most enthusiastic thing these reckless men do is fight. Yusong. Okay, it's better than doing it for a meal smiley face. Very good. Yusong smiled. In addition, on the basis of achieving good results, I would like to make a small request to everyone. Upon hearing this, the disciples immediately became alert. Deputy leader, what are you trying to do now? Then Yusong said, if everyone does a good job, I will extend the 10-day all-you-can-eat privilege to 15 days, and the whole sect will also give out extra delicious food. Disciples. Ah. Deputy headmaster, just tell me what you want. Even if you want the pants of Medicine King Hall, we can strip them off without leaving a single piece. I think everyone knows how other people in the outside world call me Yanshan. Yusong asked. Ruan Man heard this and thought. Outsiders always call us Yanshan sect members mindless and reckless. Does the deputy sect leader want us to use wisdom and tactics to change this impression? I understand, deputy leader. Zheng Liang jumped 3 feet high. We must make sure that the outside world will never call us reckless again. You know shit. Yusong couldn't help but curse. I want you to continue to maintain the way outsiders view us. Ah. The disciples were all confused. It seems that you still don't understand. Yusong showed a sinister smile. Do you think normal people would guard against sinister and cunning people? Or would they guard against simple-minded people? Even though the name of a reckless man is not nice, in previous Immortal Gate competitions, and even when we were out there trying to gain experience, even when outsiders recognized our strength, they were not overly afraid of us. Why do you think that is? If you show too many strategies and tactics, and make them wary of Yanshan in the future, it will be difficult for us to use any tricks in the next competition. All the disciples were stunned. Now I have only one thought in my mind. You are worthy of being the deputy leader. The evil-hearted people don't even care about the reputation of the sect, and they can even take advantage of the derogatory names given to us by outsiders. Originally, Ruan Man, Zheng Liang and the others felt that they had been cruel enough during their training for many days. They had used certain tricks against their fellow disciples and would reflect on themselves afterwards whether they had gone too far. Now it seems that I have only just started. In front of the deputy leader, his little scheming seemed as pure and innocent as that of a baby. A disciple raised his hand blankly and asked. Then, Deputy Headmaster, how can we maintain this view while using tactics to achieve good results? Yusong spread his hands. Then you have to think about it yourself. After all, if you complete it well, you can get 5 more days of free food. Disciples. Today's deputy leader is also having a bad day. But I can give you a little suggestion. Yusong pointed at Zhu Fan and said with a smile. Just learn more from your junior brother Zhu. Zhu Fan was caught off guard by the name. Seeing Zhu Fan's confused look, Yusong clapped his hands and praised. That's right. It's this kind of confusion with doubt, doubt with innocence, and innocence with an expression of complete ignorance. You will learn it if you study more. Zhu Fan, who was stared at by everyone, degree. What the hell? I didn't do anything, okay. Then everyone seemed to be thinking about something. Zhu Fan just felt a little annoyed. Can you guys stop pretending to understand? I really didn't do anything. Disciples. I seem to have understood. Afterwards, everyone boarded a giant Dharma ship and flew high into the sky. But Zhu Fan did not board the ship. He flew back home, found a comfortable place to lie down, closed his eyes, and when he opened his eyes again, he realized that he was on the Dharma ship. This is a new version of the doppelganger technique that Yusong made for Zhu Fan after he was enlightened some time ago. A while ago, he took Zhu Fan to the sect treasury and took out a supreme-grade law weapon, Yifuzan Zhu, completing this special doppelganger technique. The main body can put its consciousness into the spiritual clone wearing the Yifuzan Zhu. As long as the spiritual power of the clone can be replenished continuously, this state can be maintained. No matter what damage or death the clone suffers, the main body will be fine. The disadvantage of this method is that the combat power of the clone is only 1/5 of that of the main body. But this is not a big problem. Zhu Fan doesn't need to fight. If anyone dares to attack him, all the people of Yanshan can rush over violently. For Yusong, Zhu Fan is already the hope for Yanshan's future, and he tries every possible means to protect Zhu Fan. With this doppelganger technique, Zhu Fan can go out freely and happily without having to worry about safety issues. The deputy leader has really put a lot of thought into it. He really made me cry. How does it feel? Zhu Fan had previously thrown his clone into the law weapon ship and it was lying there. Now that Yusong saw Zhu Fan's clone open his eyes, he guessed that he had already placed the real body. It's okay, but the spiritual energy is consumed a little faster than before. It may be related to the distance. Zhu Fan felt the situation of his clone and informed Yusong. Then Yusong took out the message and gave a few instructions, then turned to Zhu Fan and said. Well, I asked the elders of Danju Peak to send a few boxes of spirit pills to your room. If your spiritual power is insufficient later, you can switch your consciousness back to replenish it. Anyway, if you want to eat delicious food, eat delicious food. If you want to take elixirs, take elixirs. Spiritual power is not a problem. Safety is the most important thing. Hearing this, Zhu Fan recalled a certain sentence in his mind again. I have been wandering for half my life, and have never met a wise master. If you don't abandon me. Chapter 100. Some after-sales service. The law weapon ship was very fast, and the people from Yanshan arrived at Yuanliu Gate in more than a day and a half. Different from the majestic and grand style of Yanshan, the decoration style of Yuanliamen is elegant and exquisite. The building surrounded by water is like a fairyland of Yaoqi, full of fresh and unworldly beauty. This was Zhu Fan's first time visiting a sect outside of Yanshan, so he naturally felt a little curious. The person who welcomed Yanshan was the elder who led the team to Secret Realm before, followed by several of his disciples. Jìyú and the elder started chatting as they walked, and they talked about the matter of accepting disciples intentionally or unintentionally. Then the elder of Yuanliu sect sighed, girls are good and know how to be filial to me, unlike those brats my senior brother has adopted. I am smart. I choose obedient and filial disciples. I don't want any rascals like you. Hearing this, the several Yanshan elders following behind looked at each other, gossip written all over their faces. So the one that Fairy Lan Wei likes is actually. Several elders of Yanshan were as excited as badgers who had eaten melons. Then, under Yiyu's casual chat, the elder of Yuanliu sect inadvertently mentioned several pieces of gossip, which made the people of Yanshan behind him so excited that their eyes sparkled. When they arrived at the guest room arranged for them by Yuanliu sect, the people from Yanshan were still a little reluctant to leave. Fellow Taoists of Yanshan, please take a rest here. I will take you to the competition venue tomorrow morning. It's okay, we're not tired. Elder Lu, come in and sit down. We can chat for a while. The people of Yanshan enthusiastically tried to retain the elder of Yuanliu sect. Then, with the mentality of entertaining guests well, the elder of Yuanliu sect went in and chatted for a while until someone came to call him, and then he said goodbye to the reluctant members of Yanshan sect. The people of Yanshan allocated their rooms to themselves and began to rest. Since they had been living in a fantasy world and fighting for their lives every day, the disciples were a little uncomfortable with the sudden leisure time. It happened that Zhu Fan was visiting another sect for the first time and was somewhat curious about this, so several disciples went out for a walk together after obtaining Yiyu's consent. The disciple who led the way for Yanshan's disciples was the previous leader's little apprentice, a cute girl who was 1.5 meters tall. Everyone in Yanshan was a little surprised to see the girl's appearance. Normally, the bodies of immortal cultivators have long been strengthened by spiritual power in all aspects, but it is quite miraculous that this girl has not grown taller after practicing for so long. The petite girl was gentle in nature and introduced the various sights of Yuanliu Gate to everyone in Yanshan in a soft voice. Ruan Man and his companions had been to Yuanliu Gate once before, but they had never taken a close look at it. Now, as they visited the beautiful scenery here with Zhu Fan, they felt very relaxed. Unfortunately, the good mood was interrupted by a few uninvited guests. Tisk, where did these country bumpkins come from? They have never seen the world. Understand that, after all, some country bumpkins, hometowns are just big rocks. Just now, people from Zifei sect also arrived at Yuanliu Gate and happened to bump into several people at this time. Yuanliu sect was aware that Zifei sect and Yanshan had a bad relationship, so they arranged separate residences for the two. Unexpectedly, the little disciple happened to see it when he was showing people around. The large and powerful group of people from the Zifei sect couldn't help but mock Yanshan when they saw that only a few disciples of Yanshan were visiting the Yuanliu sect. The disciple of Zifei sect thought, since the elder is right next to me, I can't suffer any harm, so what's wrong with me mocking you a few times? Although the elder of Zifei sect would not do anything directly to the younger generations due to his face was full of indulgence towards his disciples. The thing is, I have more people and bigger fists, so what's wrong with bullying you guys? The young disciple who was strolling with the Yanshan disciples turned red with anxiety. He blamed himself for not leading the way and was thinking about how to take them away. But how can a normal person predict the reaction of these reckless men? Zhao Teng just sneered and strode forward. With his loud voice and excellent lung capacity as a physical cultivator, he took a breath and spoke countless vulgar words that could not be written down. How could the people of Zifei's sect know how many vicious methods the disciples of Yanshan have learned and how much darkness of human nature they have witnessed during their various hard training in the illusion? After being tortured by those despicable means, not only did the Yanshan disciples grow in their minds, but even Zuan's greetings also made great progress. For a moment, countless % words, like a waterfall, accompanied by Zhao Teng's saliva, sprayed directly at the people of Zifei sect. The wonderful greetings that were sprayed 5 times in 1 second without any repetition directly made the people of Zifei sect dumbfounded. You, the disciple of Zifei sect who reacted turned red in the face and pointed at Zhao Teng with trembling fingers. Zhao Teng is speaking politely. Rude. Barbaric. The disciples of Zifei sect blurted out these 2 words after a long time. Zhao Teng is speaking elegantly. Shameless. Despicable. The disciple of Zifei sect roared with his neck stiffened. Zhao Teng was silent for a moment, then asked, "That's it?" The Zifei sect disciple was almost choked to death by these 2 words. "That's all. Never mind. I won't say any more, to prevent others from thinking I'm bullying you." Zhao Teng curled his lips and was about to leave with a look of disdain. "Stop." The elder of the Purple Face sect had a dark face and said in a sinister tone, "You want to leave like this after you humiliated our Purple Face sect so much?" There was spiritual power in his voice, which shocked everyone in Yanshan. Although it would not cause any major harm, he just wanted to vent his anger. Zhao Teng frowned and was about to turn around to resist, but unexpectedly, the quiet little girl before took action first. The girl raised 2 swords in her hands that were almost as tall as her, crossed them and swung them out, shattering the spiritual power of the elder of the Zifei sect. The elder of Zifei sect narrowed his eyes and stared at the seemingly insignificant little girl. Although he had only used a small amount of spiritual power just now, the girl was able to block it with 1 sword, so she seemed to have some skills. The elder of Zifei sect frowned and asked, "Why, your Yuanliu sect wants to interfere in the affairs of our 2 sects?" This senior. The little girl still spoke softly, which formed a sharp contrast with the big knife in her hand. "Yanshan fellow Taoist is my guest, please don't attack me here. HMPH, why didn't you stop Yanshan from insulting our sect just now?" The elder of the Zifei sect gritted his teeth in anger when he thought about how he was sprayed in the face just now. The short girl was silent. After all, she didn't expect someone to say so many vulgar words in just a few seconds. She was so shocked that she couldn't react for a moment. Thinking back on some of those words now, she blushed. The little girl hesitated for a long time before she whispered, "Senior, please do not fight in my Yuanliu sect. You can continue to communicate with the fellow Taoist of Yanshan. I will not stop you." Elder of Zifei sect. What the hell is communication? If I can win by scolding, would I still use violence? The elder of Zifei sect wanted to say something when another elder of Yuanliu sect also rushed back. "Fellow Taoist of the Purple Jade sect, I'm sorry for the delay. I will continue to take you to the guest room." The elder of Yuanliu sect originally went to welcome Zifei Zong, but halfway through the journey he was suddenly called away for a few minutes by his disciple for something. Unexpectedly, after he was away for such a short while, Zifei Zong and Yanshan started fighting. The elder of Zifei sect glanced coldly at the people in Yanshan and left with his men. "I can't fight him here at Yuanliu Gate, and I can't scold him enough, so can I just use my eyes to show my fierceness?" Zifei Zong left, but the people in Yanshan were not happy about it. "You D, you first mocked me, and then you started to attack me when I couldn't win the argument. Do you still have any shame to bully the weak?" The disciples of Yanshan were thinking about how to retaliate. Then Zheng Liang's eyes rolled around, and he put his arm around Zhu Fan's neck and said, "He. Brother Zhu, did you bring the seasoning and chicken?" Zhu Fan immediately understood what Zheng Liang meant. "Well, I brought it. Although it's not pickled, it can be made into a different flavor." "Very good." Zheng Liang grinned. "Come on, let's provide some after-sales service of Zhuaowu Secret Realm to the fellow Taoists of Zifei sect. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese novel audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories, and never miss out on a great listen.